Guys, intro time.
Wait, which intro?
The wisdom check.
Oh, good.
Wait, no. I thought we were keeping the old intro. What's wrong with the old one? People like that one.
It was too long.
Yeah.
Too many fucking gifs.
Yeah.
Yeah, but can we keep the part where I yell, more?
Oh,
No. But it's the intro to end all intros.
I got like what, 2 lines last time?
Do you want more lines, Tim?
Well, no, not really.
In a world without answers.
Yeah.
Wait, you want to start with that?
Here we go. Exactly like last time.
Wait, okay, so we're doing it the exact same way? Let's start with the smoky bar.
No, it's a new season. We have to have a new intro.
More.
Not sure why we thought this would go any differently.
Oh, well. Welcome, everyone, to the Wisdom Check, where Jeff and Dustin welcome a guest every week to talk about Dungeons and Dragons. Welcome.
This is ridiculous. I'm starting the stream now.
Wait, where's my die at? Well, we can't start until I botch, and it's not an intro unless I'm botching.
You're on.
All right, we should be on. So, welcome, everybody. Hello.
Yes, looks like we're here.
Perfect.
All right. Welcome, everyone, to the Wisdom Check. I am Dustin, and over on the other side of the screen, with his magic technology of green screening now, is Jeff. Jeff, say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody.
All right. And making a return appearance to the show, we have with us Turkey from the Grouch Couch. Turk. Oh, look at that dual screen technology.
Yeah, welcome to the show, bud.
We were discussing a little before we got started here just how long ago it was that you were on the show last, because in real lifetime it was like a year and a half-ish or so.
Mm-hmm.
Or about mid-season 1 of Wisdom Check. You guys were near the end of season 1 of Drunks and Dragons. Like, that's how long ago it was. It seems, when you put it that way, it seems like forever ago.
And when you said that, dude, it damn near blew my mind, because you said stuff that I had forgotten about, and I was like, whoa.
Like, there is so much that has happened since then.
Oh,
like,
gotta
you
be.
guys. Like,
It's so much. Yeah, we were talking
There's a whole different dimension, It's crazy stuff, man.
And I know one of the things that we kind of talked about then that we're going to talk a little bit more now. We're going to get into what content you guys have and go on and everything that's been going on since then. But we talked a lot about your guys' chat interaction. And I remember at the time talking about how you guys have found ways to really crank this thing up to like 11. And if that was 11, you guys have cranked this thing up to like 13 or 14 now, right? Like it's gotten pretty crazy what all you could do over there now.
No, yeah, dude. If that was 11, then yeah, we're definitely to 20, like easily. It's crazy to me that it was that long ago, but yeah, chat involvement is definitely, we've raised the bar. I don't know, man. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you guys don't know, we've interviewed him before. It was like a while back, obviously. If you go onto our YouTube channel, you'll see it over there. And we talked initially about those sorts of incentivizations for the online games, and they were doing something we weren't doing at the time, and it was very exciting to figure out how exactly that worked and what effects that had on the gameplay experience. And we've tried a little bit of it on our side of things, and to some effect, sometimes good, sometimes not so good. But
trial and error, man.
Oh yeah. I'm really curious at how you guys kind of set your thresholds, like your pricing on stuff. So to make sure it's accessible to people, but not 100% disruptive to your experience.
Cooldowns.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cooldowns are everything. So you get to a cooldown point, so we have so much different stuff, and I don't know what I can use an example for this, but with anything, cooldowns are the best. So the best way to make cooldowns. To sing a song cooldown is 55 minutes. So we could sing one song karaoke. If you don't know what that means, I'm sure we can explain more, but we could sing one song karaoke style per 55 minutes. And it doesn't matter how much currency you have, you need that 55 minutes,
Nice. Right. Yeah. That's smart.
Yeah.
And it's not just and I mean, it's all set up on a very tech level. I mean, it's all driven by the tech of Streamlabs and things that you have set up in there. So if anyone attempts to do these things, it comes up with a timer and tells you exactly how long you have to wait in order to purchase that thing again. So it's all very interactive as a viewer, and I get in and try to watch your guys' stuff about as much as I can. So I'm very well versed in how a lot of it works on there, and it's actually really, really, really cool and much simpler for people to pick up and use than what you might imagine, considering there's a lot of commands.
I mean, I think sometimes it's overwhelming, especially to new people. What we do is very overwhelming, especially because at one point when you would join, other people really wanted other people to get involved because it helped them out with the factions. So you'd come in, you're brand new. You could tell that you're brand new because your color of your name in chat isn't pink, green, red, or orange. And you would get bombarded with people like, hey, do this, do that, do that. So we definitely had to calm it down because it is a little overwhelming. But once you realize the grasp of all the stuff you can do, it makes it super fun. You know, and you pay attention, you're like, okay, I could set this off at this minute. I've got exactly 64 seconds until the cooldown goes out, you know? Yeah, it's fun stuff, man, but it's overwhelming.
It can be, but you guys did a really good job of obviously setting up not just interaction at the stream itself, but on your Discord and building kind of community there. Obviously, you guys talked about doing those like factions and implemented them, and they were way more successful than I think anyone really had an idea they would be. There's a lot of like loyalty there. I think it's really interesting seeing how that feeds into like the party atmosphere at your actual show. You know, like how people are utilizing all the bots and the games and all that kind of stuff. As it just keeps it churning, keeps it active, which is really freaking cool.
Yeah, it's super cool. The factions, I didn't think the factions were going to take off as they did. And I mean, there isn't really a lot to do with the factions. It's kind of become like a Harry Potter, what house are you in type deal. You know, like we're proud of like what college we're from is basically what the factions are. And we're proud of that. And we will rep it until we die is kind of what it is. But really, I mean, there's not a lot else that, you know, even really deals with it. But yeah, and it's involved in the Discord and stuff. And yeah, I don't know where to start, man. But yeah, it's good stuff.
I remember when you were first toying around with the idea of those factions, you gave me a call because I was the original OG head of the Ironheads. And
dude,
you gave me a call on my way home from work and you were like, Dustin, I want you to run a faction. I'm like, what is that?
What does that mean? Yeah, I was driving home from school, and I had you guys on speakerphone in my car, and I was driving, and I was like, I have this idea, and we need to do it. And you were like, yeah, I don't know what that entails, man. I've already got so many responsibilities.
I got what's going on, but I mean, sure, what do you want me to do? All right, that sounds great. You need a name? I got to come up with a name for this thing? I was like, all right.
Yeah, dude. You were the original leader of the Ironheads, man. I don't see... Well, Zombie Decoy's an Ironhead. He's in chat. I see him. Yeah, this was your OG leader right here, man.
Yeah, that was me. I'm still...
Yeah.
By canon, I'm out there doing paperwork for Octavius somewhere, I think.
That's some good shit. I think it's unlikely that there's somebody in our Twitch stream right now that doesn't know what your content is, but we do repost this stuff up on YouTube, so there's a chance there are people there seeing you for the first time. So maybe we should kind of back the train up a little bit and have you explain kind of what your guys' channel is and like kind of what your goals are.
Right. So I'm Turkey. I'm from the Grouch Couch. The Grouch Couch Media Group is what we refer to ourselves are. We are a tabletop variety stream. We do a lot of stuff in costumes, and we delve into tabletop RPGs all the time. A lot of our stuff is very homebrew, and we try our best to let chat involve themselves in our stream. We try to let chat influence what happens, and we like to just have a good time. Our goal is to put on a great show. Pretty much. We want to make sure that if anytime you tune in, you know you're at least going to get a couple laughs in, and we want to keep you company, basically, is what it is. But yeah, Turkey from the Grouch Couch. If you don't know, yeah, that's me. And yeah.
So
that's
you
true.
guys are currently in is it season 6 or 7 of Drunks and Dragons?
So we're currently on season 6 of Drunks and Dragons. We have 2 more episodes left. We're going to 15 episodes this season, and it's been our favorite. Season 6 has been insane, and we've just loved it so much. Like the character development, and I started implementing a lot more things with my story writing and stuff that really kind of helped, and it's been fantastic. Yeah, so episode 13 is what just happened yesterday.
Now, this is something I was curious about because I mean, I've been watching you guys since episode 3 of season 1, and off and on this year, unfortunately, a little bit. But I'm curious from a writer's perspective, with that level of crowd interaction going on, how do you write for an episode of Drunks and Dragons at this point?
Okay. So, I should preface this by saying, when we started, obviously our goal was to just have fun and be funny. And if we were having fun and being funny, we're hoping that everyone else was having fun and being funny. And we ran with that for a long time. And we came to a point where we realized that we are show first, D&D second, if that makes any sense. So we do things for the show, for the entertainment first before we do D&D. And with that being said, the fact that we're show first, D&D second, our show is about 3 hours long. And so before every break, I like to consider each one of those hours an act. So we have 3 hours in the show. So act 1, act 2, act 3. And that's kind of like how I like to write my stories, if that makes any sense. I'm like, by the end of this act, we need to accomplish this thing. And another thing that I do is, okay, each Drunks and Dragons season is 10 to 15 episodes, right? And I'm like, okay, after we start, we're like episode 2, and I already know where I want us to go. So I'm like, by episode 15 or 10, we need to accomplish this thing. And so I write it out. I'm like, okay, we're going to accomplish story stuff this episode. We're going to do chaotic, funny stuff this episode, story stuff, chaotic stuff. And I write it all out like in a big draft. You should see my Google Docs, guys. It's
I can imagine. I can only imagine. Like, because, I don't put quite that level of interaction in a lot of my stories. And I still know the amount of, like, just from what my 5 players could do, like in Horror-Gutenberg, like trying to figure out what I'm going to do from game to game. So I can only imagine that in those 10-minute breaks, when you guys go to break, and we'll talk even a little bit about that, what you guys do during your breaks now too. But during those 10 minutes, I could just imagine that somewhere, like everyone else is going out to have a smoke or whatever they do, and like Turk's just sitting there rewriting notes that like he's crumpling up papers, throwing away. Like, well, that's not happening now. I'm like, is that about what it's like?
A lot of times I'm like excessively typing because I am also really forgetful. And so it helps me to write everything down so that I remember, and it helps me out. So being forgetful and managing and writing story for Drunks and Dragons is a task. So, but I'm like, okay, I know we have 15 episodes. We need to get to this point by, this time. So I try to make sure story stuff does happen, but I try to leave room for shenanigans as best that I can. So
a lot of space.
There being three acts per episode. I'm like, okay, well, act 1, we need to do this and this, and then I'm going to leave a little space for role-playing time and chat shenanigans, and then I do the same thing for the other acts. And no matter what, I just know by the end of Act 3, the players need to know this about the story, and this thing needs to be accomplished. And I just have in my head what I think I want to happen. And then however they get there, a lot of the times I will have like a base. And I'm like, okay, I want this to happen. And then chat comes in, and chat's like, oh, Turkey, this needs to happen, and we're going to draw this and do that. I'm like, okay. And I'm like building in my head. I'm like, okay, we're filling in the spots on this base, and then I just paint the story, basically. It's a complicated process, but it works.
It's freaking sweet. Now, we do have a question that got redeemed with the wisdom check question. So if you guys want to make sure we answer your question and see it, go ahead and use the channel points to get that going through. But anyway, Airlaser wants to know, how does it not end up being hella railroaded?
It's a good question, because when I'm like, I know we have to get to this end point, and the characters also kind of know that we have to get to this end point, I kind of keep it a super general end point. Like, however we get there is totally up to you guys. And if you want to go off and do something else, then maybe I'll just put this endpoint over there now instead. And so now you guys have to get to that point over there, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
that's a pretty common tactic for DMs.
I would say so, yeah.
Essentially bait and switch. You're kind of bait and switching the party. Like, the left was the right way, but since you went right, the right is now the right way. And here you go. There is a lot of the smoke and mirrors, like little tactics like that the DMs will use. So
yeah, you gotta be careful. A lot of what we've talked about in the past is that, being a DM or a storyteller or whatever, it's a lot of just, the man in front of the screen kind of thing. And then like, just pay no attention to what's happening back there. Cause it's just chaos. It's just, who knows what's happening? You're just like, ah, and you're just like piecing things together. Yeah. Flailing your arms around like Zombie Decoy says. There's a lot of ad-libbing that has to happen. Like, I mean, even when you have like a module in front of you, your players just take you in weird directions, or you gotta like figure out the pacing and all that kind of stuff. It's all on the fly. Like, that's the biggest skill set that there is.
Yeah, it really comes with a lot of practice. It may seem like it's all chaos and nonsense, but at the same time, I do need to keep my players happy too. You know, like they want their characters to accomplish things. And so we do a lot of talking with each other, like before every episode or at the end of every episode. I'm always like, well, hey guys, what do you want to accomplish next week? What do you want your characters to do? You know what I mean? And if they have something in their mind, then I kind of try to implement that. But it comes with practice. You're trying not to railroad characters, especially because a lot of people, when they feel railroaded, they get pretty mad. And they're like, I wanted to do this or that or whatever. So, yeah, a lot of practice, I think.
Yeah, players rebel when you do that, too. If you end up in a railroad situation, it seems like they just really run off the rails at that point as hard as they can. We did get another question here. Dustin, did you have something to say before I bring this question up?
Well, what I was just going to mention is that because they're show first, they're such heavy role play that their guys... their players over at the Grouch Couch really focus on the character narrative part of it. Like I don't, you will almost never hear any mention of things like levels or XP. And like none of that stuff it's all that stuff is just kind of a behind the scenes part of the deal. It's all theatrics and show and role play, and all of their character stuff is then role play oriented and driven as far as what their goals are. So the goal's never like, let's take down this or do this. It's always like, here's things I want my character to do. Like you could tell like through each episode that like that's where the goals actually are set, is in the
It's not like I want my character to hit level 7. It's like I want my character to get a girlfriend, and you know, I want to get a house and own a brothel, and you know what I mean? It's definitely character role playing stuff. And it's this weird offshoot of real play where like, yeah, experience stuff happens in the background, but believe me, it does happen. And as a DM, I still get prodded like, Turkey, how much experience did we get last week? If you don't tell us, you know, it's still normal DM stuff.
Do you experience?
Yeah, well, the weird thing is also, and it's so funny, I wish I could show you our group chat, but I was like, all right, so you guys role played this and did that successfully. So I try to give them experience for role playing and talking to other people, because if I only gave them experience for killing things, they would never level. And so I was like, I'm still going to give you guys experience for role playing, et cetera, et cetera. And then Fishy was like, man, if we only got experience for killing people, that'd be bullshit. And I was like, you mean like real D&D or like, that's how it's supposed to work. Yeah, man.
Boil those eggs.
Mike Romero here with his wisdom check redeem question. It's not so much a question here, he says, but he just wanted to correct you that the real goal is to get Reggie laid by every creature in D&D lore, and also Turk and chug. So
cheers, Viper.
I was gonna say, we'll just briefly, because he's mentioning Reggie. One of the interesting things that you do over the Grouch Couch, and this again goes to the motto of kind of show first and D&D second, is you play with what would be normally considered less than a full group. Like you have 2 main characters right now. Like that's not what you think of as standard D&D. Standard D&D is like 4 to 5. The classes are always balanced and varied to, you know, tackle objectives, this, that, the other. But that's completely not the approach you guys take. So let's talk a little about who your 2 characters are in your players this year, because they're 2 of my favorites that you guys have done.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Ours too. Yeah. Ours too. Yeah. Barry, the Eagle Scout, is Fishy. We only have 2 people, and Barry the Eagle. I mean, well, Barry's just Barry. That's not Fishy. Yeah. I don't know why I said that. That was weird for me to say that. They're related. Fishy, no, Barry's a whole person. I don't know what you mean.
Like Willie, he's become his own.
Yeah, because you know that's how we do. As soon as that eye patch goes over Connor's face, he's Reggie now. But Barry's an Eagle Scout, so he wanted to play a young kid who hated cussing, and he thought it was going to be funny because on our show there's loads of cussing and stuff like that, and it just kind of built to this insane level. And he wears a complete costume, so he's got the Eric Cochran mask. He's got these really cool they're actually like raver girl boot things that they put over boots that they wear on their legs. He put them on his arms. They're white ones, and he's got little gloves. Yeah, lots of innovation costume-wise to save money, you know. But Barry's fantastic, full costume. And I remember the beginning of season 6, we were just getting extra viewers because people were just coming in going, "That's an eagle. There's a bird there. That's an eagle. Great costume."
Yeah, the costume is amazing. Like
it is an amazing costume.
It blows my mind. Yeah.
If you think that's great, wait till the next season. But anyways, he set the bar, and now the bar is being raised again. But no spoilers. And then we have Reggie, who's the reverse rogue, which I guess is a brand new concept that really hasn't been done before. He's a rogue that sneaks things into people's pockets instead of stealing from them. So he will put like caltrops in their pockets or poison or little bombs of some kind or whatever he can get his hands on. He'll like light a fire and put it in their pocket to light them on fire. So he's a reverse rogue, which is super cool. Yeah. And he's like Australian and he has one eye and two penises and he only likes non-human women. But anyways, yeah.
That seems pretty normal.
There's a whole other levels to that onion. There's layers to that onion right there. It's not just a guy who's reverse stealing, because he really does that a minimal amount versus what he does with a lot of the rest of his woman chasing and things of that nature. So.
It's very true. It's so very true. There was at one point, it was like the third episode, he was like, Turk, I wish you'd give me more time to reverse steal stuff. And I was like, okay, no worries. And I kept giving him places to reverse steal, but he just quit doing it. And he's just got so much other stuff going on at this point that, it's become second nature.
Now, I think I remember this. Maybe I'm incorrect on this, but the badges for our scout, those were chat given, right? Like they had like little missions he had to pull off to achieve them, and those are coming from your chat, sort of.
Yeah, kind of. I was these past couple months. I've been writing my story live, and they were helping me come up with badge quests for him to do. And if he were to accomplish them without him knowing it, then he would get the badges. And then we had Spooky Sprinkles literally painting the badges, and he was sewing them on his vest like as time went on. So now he's completely full, and it's almost the end of the season.
That's freaking awesome.
Like underwater basket weaving and stuff. Yeah, it's crazy stuff.
I remember the list when it got put up in the Discord, and we were all just typing on there. Like that list got ridiculous pretty quick. Like,
well, I would say accidentally pulling off underwater basket weaving without knowing it was a thing. Like, how does that happen?
Well, it didn't, but it could have.
Oh, okay.
But it's on the list.
Okay, all right. I was like, you got to be shitting me.
They were in an underwater palace, like, Lost City of Atlantis in a giant plasma dome. And if he would have weaved a basket down there one time, but yeah.
But it really is, like I said, just concept-wise, these two concepts that you have that you're currently working with are two of just some crazy original ideas I'm not sure I've ever seen done before. I mean, forget the fact that he's an Eagle Scout and an Eagle kind of at the same time. But he's a druid, but he's got kind of almost a paladin demeanor to him. Like he's he's just super good, super lawful, and at the same time, he's actually a druid.
Multi-classed cleric, and that's been super fun. So now he's also trying to heal people, but the story is really beaten down on him as a character, and so he's actually been cussing a couple times the past few episodes. Like things are getting real, and he's getting annoyed. When we came up with these characters, we were actually in the middle of the desert on 4th of July, throwing some back, just talking about what we're going to do, and then we came up with this concept. And before we even knew what races they were going to be, we knew how they wanted to interact with each other and how they wanted to be born. Like they wanted to be neighbors, and he wanted to be a guidance counselor of sorts. And then it just exploded, and we were talking about it for hours. And everyone who was with us was like, "What are these nerds even talking about? Dungeons and Dragons?" I'm like, "Yeah, yep,
that's the one."
Yeah.
Oh man. Now that is something I'm kind of curious about too. Is this your only game, or do you have a game that's off stream?
So we have attempted to do a game off stream, but we're so busy with our whole stream in general that we haven't had the time to do it. We thought about doing a D&D game where we would just record our voices and put it on Spotify and stuff like that. But then again, that's more content creation, and we didn't end up doing that. But let's just play a real game of D&D with no shenanigans. And we've joked about it, but I think at this point we wouldn't know how. We'd be like,
yeah, that's what I was going to say.
I got a 1. And then we're just sitting there waiting for 20 seconds. And the other people we're playing with are like, why are you waiting? And we're like, oh, wait, there's no give a dice. I'm sorry.
There's no one here to mess up your perfectly good roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it definitely does change the way you interact, I think, with the game too. Because, obviously when you're playing just by yourselves, you're your own audience, but beyond that, you don't have anyone else to kind of bring along. And I feel like there's a pretty significant difference between performing and just playing for the fun of it with your peers. And I was just really curious to see how many experiences you guys have been able to have where it's off camera, just kind of chilling with your own. But sounds like the schedule has kept you busy.
But I mean, to put it into perspective, I never thought we would be playing D&D and doing it live streaming and, you know what I mean, doing what we're doing now. Because when we started playing D&D, because we played D&D before we started streaming, right? We just play every other Sunday in the garage like normal people, you know, and then we just drank until we couldn't remember. And, you know, just we play D&D like normal guys. And now it's crazy what it's evolved to. And like, yeah, so we have gotten a lot of normal D&D experiences. But I even think at that point, we'd still bring costumes and we would perform for our peers, you know what I mean, who were there. We'd like try to one up each other and stuff. So now it's at a whole new level, if that makes any sense.
And I mean, as you said, you guys don't really get a lot of time to play an additional game because you guys have a very, very aggressive shooting schedule.
Yeah.
I mean, just talk a little bit about the rest of the content you do over there throughout the week because there's a lot more than what people might realize.
So this past month in October, on Mondays, I was doing a creepypasta reading podcast where I'd read top-ranked creepypastas, and that was fun. And then we have this show called Wacky Wednesdays where we still dress up in costumes, but we play video games during, and that's become super fun. And so like we play our characters with each other, but we play video games, and it's, Wacky Wednesdays gotten to something else. And then on Friday nights, I write my story live, and I try to make that as fun as possible, and I allow people to make NPCs and stuff like that, which is cool. And after that Friday night, if someone does make an NPC, I have to send the Google Doc that the person fills out to one of our cast members, and then they fill it out, and then we like work on costumes, and then we do Drunks and Dragons on Sundays, and once a month we do our podcast, and I stream on my personal channel throughout the week playing video games. It's a thing.
So you're taking it easy is what you're trying to say.
Oh yeah, super easy. You know, I have so much free time to myself to, you know, spend with the missus and hang out, you know.
It's a lifestyle at this point.
Yeah.
it's gone from hobby to lifestyle. It's You know, and I understand. We understand that. Like I was telling, we had a very aggressive schedule here at TT2KB for a while. And, you know, there's a group of 6 of us kind of divvying up that content. Me and Jeff doing wisdom check, Levi doing DM to art and running Everstorm. Like, we're kind of fortunate that we're kind of divvied up a bit. But like, you guys are a little less divvied on some of those aspects of it because you're kind of manning a lot of the tech end of it. Or is there others helping you behind the scenes on some of this stuff that maybe we don't get to see?
Not really. They keep me company sometimes, but I'm pretty much the one doing all the writing and the graphics and all the editing and programming and stuff like that for all the bots and stuff. But they keep me company, you know what I mean? And they work hard on their costumes and their personalities and stuff. So, it's totally cool. It's square. And it's not, I wasn't complaining, by the way. I love the super active schedule. I'm kind of like a workaholic. And even if we're not streaming, I'm like coming up with something brand new for no reason to give myself an extra workload. Like, I don't know why I do that. I just do. So, but it's fun.
Because, you know, I mean, and you guys have a lot of stuff that you're having get done through your community. So, like you guys, I know she's in the chat, so we'll talk about it. Like Spooky Sprinkles does the pre-show. She has a show where she does like the pre-game show for you guys, and she's there doing makeup and costume for you guys now. So we get to see her pretty regularly on the Grouch Couch. And
we consider her a part of the Grouch Couch Media Group now, like 100%. Even though she's her own entity, she's a part of the Grouch Couch Media Group. I mean, she's in the Grouch Couch studio now. So I mean, you know, there's a rectangle corner, but square's not a rectangle. Yeah. I can see her over there.
Right there.
Thanks for the follow, by the way.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Abstracto.
Abstracto! Cheers, buddy. Welcome. Yeah.
Got a lot of your friends here in the chat right now. Apparently, you were asked to do a wisdom check before you got on the show, and you rolled a 9. So, we're doing pretty good.
Yeah. I was like, I got to do the wisdom check tonight. And he was like, okay, roll me a d20 and add wisdom. And I was like, all right, I got a 9. And he was like, there you go. There's your wisdom check.
Nice.
Like,
and Fishy's in the chat now. Good to see you.
For those who would tune into your show for the first time, we talked a little bit about your 10-minute breaks. And for a lot of people, us included, you know, a little timer goes up. We got a little thing that plays. Your guys' are full-on commercials now.
So
talk a little bit about just your break. The work you've put into your breaks is phenomenal.
Oh, thank you, buddy. I appreciate you saying that.
No,
but
they're really entertaining,
for a long time before I did Twitch streaming, I was an avid viewer of Twitch stream stuff. And it was always hard for me to continue to pay attention during breaks, especially people took over 5 minutes. I was always like, okay, well, I'm going to go do something else. And then I'd forget because, you know, I got some pretty bad ADHD. So I really wanted to make sure that people were still entertained and having fun and also being informed. And you know what I mean? So on our breaks, we have commercials that play now. Our characters in character record commercials talking about our stream currencies and our commands and all the stuff we have going on, like our merch. And they record stuff talking about what's going on in the story currently to keep everyone informed with that. And then during all that stuff, I just implemented last week. I don't know if we're going to keep it, but hopefully we do. I implemented this thing called stream avatars that makes it a little chaotic, but you can make your own little avatar and you can fight bosses and interact with the people, which is kind of cool. And
That's really cool.
yeah, I also all the fan art that everyone makes of everyone, I want to make sure that it's seen to everyone all the time. So I have a slideshow going of all the fan art all the time. Because man, there are some fantastic artists in our community. Like if you didn't know,
yeah, there's some
I've seen a lot of the
tremendous
work.
creativity out there.
I joke with them all the time, but I pimp Zombie Decoy out to anybody needing art. Anytime I see art come up, I'm always like, Zombie. Look,
that's how we know.
art. That's how you guys. And he's done work that appears on your guys' stream regularly. You guys have.
He did a Mimic Couch logo that we commissioned him to do, and we love it. We have it up everywhere. And next week, sometime me and Fishy are getting it tattooed on us, so that's cool.
What? You're getting a tattoo of Zombie's art on you? Does Zombie know that?
Yeah, we told him about it, and he was like, "Wouldn't be the first time." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool, man."
Hey, welcome Featherfall and all the Raiders. Good to have you.
We are talking with Turk, who's the DM over at the Grouch Couch, where they play Drunks and Dragons on Sundays. Sunday nights, it's 9 my time. I think it's 7 Turk's time.
PST, 7 PST, yeah.
PST, yes.
The
So
world
7
we never know.
PST.
we just did a time change here, so then I get confused about if everyone else moved or not, and then I don't know relative to time where I'm at anymore, which...
That's what happens when you run a time travel game.
Yeah.
Just going to put that out there.
I'm not even get into that right now. Ooh. So, but I did in my Horror Huntberg game yesterday, so I just out of curiosity, Turk, how do you end your campaigns? Like, how does an end come about for you with this?
So, insight. A lot of the times whenever we're doing our campaign, we obviously have some big overlying story and some goal that we're working towards. And so it makes it easy for that to there be a huge buildup the whole time to get to that point. And then once we do, finales on our shows are a lot of the times more scripted. Like we're like, okay, we want this, and this to happen. And I really feel like it's chat's job to try and mess up what we're trying to do. And they know that, but we do our best to make it happen. And sometimes we do a lot of production stuff. So we try to pre-record a like finale ender that has like dramatic music and explosions and you know what I mean, and make it like really fulfilled for everyone to like they've been through this long journey with us for 15 episodes. And I really hate it whenever TV shows end without a good finale, you know? So we really try to live it up and make it wonderful and make sure all the loose ends that were loose are now tied up and everything's beautiful. And there are still some secrets that have been out in the open and obvious since the beginning, and no one's figured it out yet. So the finale is going to be fantastic.
You guys have done, throughout the seasons that I've been able to watch in full, you guys have done a good job with a lot of real plot twists near the end. I know season 1, one of the players, if I remember right, like one of the players ended up having a character that ended up kind of being like the bad guy the next season. Or I was trying to remember how it worked out. That
was season 2. There was like a brother that ended up being the bad guy. Yeah. But one of the common themes of our season finales is one of the characters always dies. At least one of the important people of the story always dies. And so everyone's like, oh, who's going to die this season finale? Well, you're going to have to figure it out. We already kind of know who's it's going to be, so we'll see.
Is that a group discussion, or does Turk know and he just like...
Well, me and one other player know, but the third player is kind of in the dark at this point. He's going to have to wait till we do post-production for the video to figure it out. I don't even think I'm going to write him a script. I'm just going to tell him to get into costume and then have the other guy act it out and then have him naturally just act back and see what happens, I think.
That'll be for the best. This is how your group sizes shrunk, isn't it? You just execute a player every season. You get the confusion. Sometimes a little bleed over player to character.
In season 1, you're down to 2, but it's been a rotating cast. It hasn't been the same people every time either.
So our original plan was to do 2 characters and then have rotating NPC characters throughout every week. But the other players from the media group kind of got busy, so it's just mostly been the 2 players each week. But next season, we're going to have 3 players on the table the whole time. So, yeah, but you know what? Doing what we do with 2 players has been so much fun because it's been really easy to delve into actual like character development for both of them.
Well, you get
Yeah.
just
That
so
is-
much more
that-
time on the table,
Yeah.
like so much more time in front of the stage. And, when it's just that number of people, everyone knows, they have to fill more space with your character.
Yeah.
And I think that makes a big difference. Hey, Shinobi, thanks for the follow.
Hey, Novi.
I think when you have like a crowded table, sometimes you can feel like, oh, I got to squeeze in there a little bit when I need to duck out, let other people have their space. And I think that's a really smart choice for you guys, considering how much of a character the chat happens to be.
Yeah, that's very true. The third character in this season has been Chat.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good way to put it. Yeah, but one thing I did want to say is I really feel like, well, from what we learned and what we've been doing this for a long time, I think one thing that I've realized and I've learned is that if you tune into our show, you're either super, super into it or it's not for you. I feel like
I think
there's
that's
this
fair.
weird form of segregation that we've done, or I don't know what the word for it is, but you're either super into it or you're not. Like you tune in and you're like, oh, this is my life every Sunday for the next year. Or you're like, well, I was actually looking for a more traditional game of D&D, so you guys are insane. See you later, And
Maybe niche is the
Niche,
word.
yeah.
You think big niche is maybe what you're looking for?
this is a good word. And one of the analogies I like to use is if you're searching through YouTube to watch someone play a video game, there's two types of people that are going to find certain videos. You're either looking for a video where someone is playing through the game traditionally and actually experiencing the game and listening to the quests and playing it like they normally should, like they're actually interested in their stats and what gear they have or whatever it happens to be. Or there's someone on YouTube playing a video game that's just laughing at everything and doing dumb things with the NPCs and driving cars off cliffs, and you know what I mean? And there's two versions of things, and I really feel like we're the ones driving cars off cliffs and screaming at each other.
That's fair. That is a very fair statement.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to know your audience, you know, what you're aiming at. And I think that's something that's very interesting, is that you had a vision of what your group was going to be in terms of your Twitch channel, and you've stuck that. That is like, you've nailed that, you know. And I think the people that you're surrounding yourself with, the types of stories you're telling, the kind of, the way you've structured the form of entertainment that you have is all wrapped around that concept. And I think it's a very, very cool thing. It's very streamlined towards a very focused thing.
I think, we're very self-aware at this point. But I think at some point we also kind of do appeal to maybe like people my age, like 20-year-olds and stuff. They're like tuning in because it's fun and crazy and insane. But then they actually kind of start to pay attention and they go, oh, this D&D thing is super fun. Maybe I want to get into that too. So they start getting into D&D as well, and they start learning about it and stuff like that. So I think in the end, it's, you know, it's helping, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Now, are you getting a lot of new people to the hobby? Is it just like total noobs, don't play any tabletop role-playing games, they show up and this is like their intro to it and then they learn from it? Or is this like...
Yeah, well, at least people that find us on other sites, like on TikTok or anything like that, or even people that live with us locally or knew us from high school will tune in, know nothing about D&D, and then still get a kick out of the show, which happens a lot. And they're like, oh yeah, there's some dice rolling or something, but you know, they're also like in a bird costume, so it's funny, you know. I don't know how much they pay attention, but you know,
it's pretty fascinating.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk a lot about the theatrics, but still behind all of it, veiled very, very carefully, is still the mechanics of 5th Ed D&D. You guys play 5th Ed. It's still there. You'll still see advantage use, disadvantage. You'll still see those things that take place. So if you are an avid X's and O's person, it's not that the X's and O's aren't there. It is very theater of the mind, but at the same time, you guys still use the rule sets as best you can in the midst of what's going on. You're not going to take time to look up a rule. You'll just make a DM call and go on with it. But you know,
but I do my best to, if I know that the players are going to be encountering something this episode, I do my best to research on it as much as I can. And I have a screen up because Reggie is absolutely brand new. Connor is to D&D. Like he's never played before this season. So he asked me a lot of questions during break and stuff like that. And I always try to fill him in. Like he was a rogue that's level 5 and never said, okay, now I'm going to roll to hide. Like, you know how much rogues say that all the time. Like, now I'm going to roll to hide. I'm using my bonus action to roll to hide. Like, that is a rogue thing. And he just said it like the first time last Sunday. And I was like, what? So, yeah.
I was trying to think. I don't know if I've ever heard the words cunning action come out of him.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, I don't think I ever have.
It's crazy. But I do my best to look up rules and extra rules and stuff, because even though I know the baseline of all the D&D rules, because I've been playing for 10 plus years, there's still a lot of little stuff that I don't know exact details of, so I always try to look it up as best that I can. And this past season 6, I was actually implementing actual stats for like monsters and actual DC saves and stuff like that to actually give these guys better experience at the end of each episode. And to even the people who know stats of stuff, you know, they're like, okay, well, I know that a zombie actually has 14 HP because, you know, if they actually know, then I'm actually using the stats, which is kind of cool. I was trying my best to do that anyways.
Now, I am kind of curious about something here, because you were saying this is Connor's first game, and just the little bit that I've seen, his character is like very, very solid. Like the acting is very robust. I'm curious.
He was a blessing.
What's that?
She was a blessing.
A blessing, yeah. I was curious, what was his background?
Right.
Like, as a player.
Connor's a military guy, actually. And yeah, he's super military. He works out like helping teach people how to shoot guns properly. Like that's his actual job and stuff like that. I can't go into too much detail, but I was talking to him about it because I was surprised too. I was like, wow, dude, you're such a good actor. Like you nailed this stuff. And he was like, well, I actually did take like 2 years of drama and stage show college. And he was like, but I started out working on the sets and stuff, but then I ended up in the main role at the end, and I was like, "Well, who would have guessed that?" Yeah, so
he kind of seemed like a natural in front of the camera. Now,
for sure, yeah.
As I know, for me, I don't feel the camera when I'm playing like we do Everstore or whatever. I don't feel it. Like I'm on there, I'm usually focused on my players or the other players. Like sometimes the chat disappears for me a little bit, but you guys are so interactive, you can't really be that way. Do you feel like your crew really senses the camera being on them when they're...
Connor stares at the camera a lot. If you watch, he'll be talking to me, but he's looking right at the camera, like the whole time. And I'm sitting over there, but he's just like, yes, Turkey, I'm going to do that. He'll look right at the camera. So I think he knows. And Barry or Fishy can't see the camera, so I don't think he knows.
He has no clue. He's
like, I don't know what's going on right now. So, yeah,
that was actually a pretty good Barry you did right there. That sounded a lot like you.
Yeah, I'm practicing. But yeah, I don't know if he senses it, but he has this little tablet thing where he could read chat. He could see here, but that's pretty much it. If he looks up, he's got like no vision. So yeah.
It's a miracle. We won't give away too much information, but you guys are in a rather warm part of the country.
Yeah.
So during the summer months when you started this season, were there concerns about him putting on a full costume for that long?
Yeah, and he knew it. He at that point in time he quit drinking on the show, and that might be a little too much information. Sorry for breaking reality, everybody. But Fishy doesn't drink on the show, and he started drinking Gatorade out of his flagon because of how hot he gets. And I remember at the beginning of the season, it was so hot, we were putting ice packs in his back and in his helmet, and we were putting like frozen wet rags up underneath his elbows and stuff. So there's like one episode where he looks like he has this big old hunchback, but it's actually just ice packs there. And he was dying of heat exhaustion. And there was a couple points where we had to go to break early because he had to go sit by the swamp cooler. Thank God it's cooler now. I mean, it's 85, and that's
you guys aren't in a place where it ever gets real
85 is cold to us. Like I have sleeves today. See sleeves? It's cold.
Sleeves? That's like a long here today. You're part of the country, so
49. Yeah, I would die in 49 degree weather. But yeah. Fishy in chat said, it's fine. Everything's fine. Yeah.
Oh man. So you guys have obviously you have a fair number of streams that you guys continue to work with through Hero Approved. You guys do a lot of cross content as well. So when we're talking a lot about what you guys do over there, like it's not just Drunks and Dragons and Wednesday video games. You guys are on at least one or two of you are on like Goodman Games. You're doing stuff with the Lich. You guys have, like I said, a very aggressive schedule.
Yeah, it's very aggressive. So Thursday nights, I forgot to mention that, but we do Hero Approved streams, which most of the time is just we stream on rotating channels from everyone here at Approved. We do one-shot D&Ds. We play fun little games. We do stuff like that with everyone together. Recently, we've been on Goodman Games every other week playing their brand new version of X-Crawl that just came out recently. Called X-Crawl Don't Hurt Them, and I think it actually did release, but we got to beta test it for a couple weeks before it did release, which is super cool. And so we're on Goodman Games doing that stuff, which has been difficult, by the way, because we only get 2 F-bombs per episode. And we have to keep it PG. So like, you know, that we like looked it up, like no tobacco use, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. But 2 F-bombs is all you get to stay PG. And it wasn't me though, actually. Well, I think I did drop one time by accident, but Falcham Art's also on the Hero Pro stream team, and he dropped an F-bomb one time, just like flat out. We were like, dang it, Falcham. So yeah, it's been rough. Yeah, but it's fun. And I love the fact that they gave us the opportunity to do that, and I hope we were living up to the name, you know, because we've been going full showbiz and the whole thing. And yeah, and I'm also on Joe Dirt's stream once a month. We are doing a modern campaign setting, which is a lot of fun. And yeah, everyone else is just interluding with each other. It's very fun.
Yeah, that cross promotion is a serious advantage. Because that's something I've really found that's been pretty interesting for you guys. Is that, you know, a lot of the people in your chat end up getting a chance to play in your games or to collaborate with the creative process. You know, whether it's like making videos together or whether it's creating the story together. It's really done a really good job of bringing people into it and having a buy-in into the content. You know, like we were saying before, being that third character at the table.
Yeah.
Is there anything
Absolutely.
in particular that like really kind of like started that for you guys? Like that you found was like the key that kind of broke the dam?
I don't know. I can't really say. Yeah, okay. Give it to me. I don't know.
I think it was Pie Gods. I think that was, for me, if there was a point where community content started to become in-game content, it was when Pie Gods created Evil Santa. And
yeah, I mean,
life of its own.
There was always like little things that would happen that community people were making happen, suggesting and stuff like that. But then Pie Gods was like, how many bits do I need to drop for you to kill Santa Claus? And we went, you don't have to do that, man. We'll kill Santa Claus if you want us to. And then he still did it anyway. And we're like, okay, well, we can't just kill Santa Claus. We need to give this to him because he earned it, man. Like, that's insane. So we made like an evil Santa, savage Santa trope. Then Santa was creating clones. And now it's totally canon in our world still to this day. I mentioned it last episode. I was like, it's getting cold. The Santa clones are going to come out. Like, it's still a thing. So,
and that is something that we haven't really touched on much, but I believe is supposed to be true, is that you're not just writing D&D games. You're creating an entire world. It's a persistent campaign world that all of these stories, I guess, effectively take place in.
Yeah, slowly. And the idea for that is that we get so attached to our characters. I mean, everyone does, right? I'm sure there's lots of characters you guys have you get super attached to.
Oh, yeah.
And after a season of Drunks and Dragons is over, that character's gone, right? That's sad. That sucks. So we want to make it in the same world around the same time so characters could still come back and make cameos and all other kinds of stuff to keep it fun and spicy, you know? Spicy.
And now you've had some pretty interesting characters throughout Drunks and Dragons history. I know one of them, one of the more popular characters was Zidalak. And for those who may have missed that entire season, and I don't know if you guys have all your episodes backlogged in a way that people could go back and watch, but
we do.
We could talk about where you have those in a minute. But Zidalak, the player, was in a green suit. So he was invisible to the green screen, and he played with a puppet. Zidalak was a puppet on screen.
Yep, 100%. And we thought that the puppet was like the best thing ever, but here comes Barry Talons, you know. I don't want to bring him back up, but yeah, Zidalak was fantastic. We had someone in a green screen suit. We were thinking about ways to take advantage of the green screen because you use it for everything, right? And we also had an idea to play a character that was actually 2 people, and one person would paint their head green, and then another person would wear the green screen suit except their head and put their head right here like they was being carried. And this person would talk here, but it was this person's body. And they would just sit there like that. We had some insane ideas of things that we wanted to do, and that might still happen. We were going to do it for Halloween, but you know, of course it didn't happen. But yeah, we try to take advantage of the green screen as much as we can.
I feel sorry for whichever one of your players volunteers to have to bend over and stick his head through someone else's arm for 3 hours, though. That would be
I also
hell on the back.
Just get a nice stool.
Yeah.
Sit down. Take a load off.
I also feel sorry for the guy who has to sit there and be quiet with his arm like this for 3 hours. So yeah, it's fair. But I feel like he'd probably grab him and, you know, I don't know. Yeah.
Shinobi says not to mention the Pie God's going to mention his ego will inflate.
Yeah, good talking about it, you know. Man. He also said he didn't know Connor was a beginner player. Yeah, Connor was nervous. He was super nervous his first episode out. Yeah, he was a little scared, but he's absolutely a brand new beginner. And D&D Beyond has helped him a lot, just guide him right through everything. I live by that app, man. It's great.
I gotta say, it blows my mind just seeing what I've seen. From it's. I would have thought he was a player who's been playing for decades. That he'd come into it and figured out, the whole acting angle of it. Getting into character, developing the backstory, the kind of like persona, like the living in the character, I guess is the thing I'm trying to get at. Because that seems like a trait that doesn't just naturally happen for a lot of people.
No. There has to be something he's hiding from us.
I think it's safe to say that what you see with the new player like Connor coming in is two things. First off, you get a concept that nobody probably anywhere has done in D&D.
Yeah,
because they didn't come in and play a whole bunch of games and then decide they were going to hop on stream and then it was like, okay, we're going to play a rogue who does this because they saw other rogues played. Mm-hmm. They hopped right in and was like, okay, well, I'm a rogue and I put things in people's pockets.
Like backwards. And that was his first idea, first game out. Like, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just because he had a fresh brain and he was trying to think of something creative. Mm-hmm. But then when we told him that, I forgot you guys were interviewing someone on the Wisdom Check, and he was like, wow, that's actually a super cool concept. I haven't heard of that before. He went, what? I was like, yeah, dude, it's freaking great, man.
Somebody, that was Daniel D. Wagner, who
Daniel D. Wagner
class. He invented the rogue class, and I was telling him that I was watching a stream where we had a player who pickpockets things into people's pockets, and he was just like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like that's where his rogue class had eventually come to, was seeing things like that happen. So it's and sometimes it does. You take what we think of as common material, like what a rogue can be, and you put it in front of somebody who's never seen any of it. You'll get some original ideas. But the other thing I was gonna say is that I feel like what you can see with Reggie and what you see with Barry is this culture that you've helped foster and create at the Grouch Couch with your friends there, of this is what D&D is for us. And we always Jeff talk a lot about how different tables are different, right? And that is your guys' table. And so when you get a new player who comes in, he's going to adapt your guys' style of play. And so you guys have helped show him that is what D&D is. So it's only natural then that he gets a new idea because he's a fresh mind.
I feel sorry for the guy. He's going to go and try and play D&D with some normal group, and they're going to be like, why are you dressed up? Why are you talking like that? Why are you waterboarding yourself? Yeah. I feel sorry for the guy. We've ruined him. Oh, man. But he was a blessing. You're totally right. It's like the fresh eyeballs. He came in with fresh eyes and created something awesome, and I think it's great,
Now, in terms of your players, like... obviously, a lot of people on the internet, you're saying, are seeing D&D for the first time with your games. Do you know what their first experience with tabletop role-playing games was in terms of, like, did they watch it beforehand? Were they some of your fans that ended up becoming a player? What's the origin story there of how they came into the game?
I don't know. You mean the people who watched us for the first time and haven't played D&D before?
No, not necessarily. Well, I mean, that's interesting too, but I was more talking about specifically for him.
Oh, for him. Well, he's our friend for a long time. We're actually friends with his girlfriend. Her name's Kelsey. She wants us to, but we've been hanging out with her for a long time. She was just in our friend group, and we met Connor, and Connor was doing all these weird voices, and like he's very flamboyant, but also really collected. And we were like, hey, Connor, do you want to come play with us? I don't actually think we didn't ask him. What had happened is we were like,
told him.
You are coming here this week. You're going to come play with us. Are you okay with that? And he went, yeah, totally. So that's kind of what happened. Yeah.
I was going to say, you guys are very active in, I think you guys call it Wasteland. That's kind of the central where a lot of your guys' friends had kind of jailed us through some of these things. Is that like the same kind of group then? Was Connor part of that group? Like, because there's costuming and stuff that goes on for that sort of thing also, right? So is that kind of the origin of the costumes and that sort of...
we actually brought... I love how we're talking about Connor so much. I love this. I'm going to have to show this to him later if he's not watching already. Connor, we talked about you for like 40 minutes, bro. We actually brought Connor into our Wasteland shenanigans after we brought him into Drunks and Dragons shenanigans. So
It wasn't the other way around, because I was thinking that I could see how it could maybe have came the other direction, where it would seem like a more natural.
That would make sense, right? But he went into that supernaturally. Like, he was fantastic. Like, I made a video for our whole little Wasteland thing we did, and he was like the star the whole time because he was acting, and you know what I mean? He was acting like Krieg the Psycho from Borderlands. It was beautiful.
Nice.
It was beautiful, yeah.
Came in supernatural. He was like a vampire or some shit. So Viper has a redemption here. So what's the one thing you missed from 3.5 edition, or wish 5e kept, I should say? Also, Turk, you haven't drank enough yet. Keep that chug going. Well, yeah, I have strong opinions between the editions of things that preceded 5 and 5 that are a little different than I think a lot of people. I like a little bit more crunch and a little bit more customization, I guess is what I would say, for the actual characters. So for me, 5th edition was kind of a regression on that level. I don't know if there's a specific thing in there, but I think just making choices, there's less of it in 5th ed for me. But as from like a storytelling side of things, I think it's a lot easier for the DM to handle because there are just a lot less rules to keep track of. There's a lot less variability, I guess, at the table. Like if you got a druid, the druid's going to kind of fit in this box right here,
I'll answer real quick for you there, Viper Mara. The thing I would wish 5e would have kept didn't come from 3.5 and it didn't come from Pathfinder. It came from 4th edition, and that was skill challenges. Yeah. Skill challenges needed to stay. It was the only thing redeemable from 4e, in my opinion, and for some reason, all it got reduced to was death saves. So
what I will say on the subject is the only things I know about 3.5 and 4th edition I learned from listening to this show. And also, when people ask me how old I am, I tell them I started in 5th edition. That's what I tell them. So I know that Jeff really likes 3.5. I know that Dustin really likes skill checks in 4th edition. I also really like that both you guys, when you talk about 4th edition, you talk about how players' turns took too long. And that's what I know. So,
yeah, I mean, we've talked a lot about the different editions. And I think all the editions have something about them that is good. Like, they all have some assets that come into it. They're designed a certain way for a certain subsect of the player base. And, if you find the edition that suits you, more power to you. There's so many games out there.
I'll tell you this much. Yeah. If you pick up Baldur's Gate from what I've seen of it, and you play Baldur's Gate 3 and you're like, this is D&D and this is fun, go pick up 4th edition. You're going to have a good time. The way things are done is a little differently, but the style of how it plays, from what I've seen of it, is very much how 4th edition felt to me when I was playing it. So, I think that's where I would say if you feel like that's the kind of gameplay that's fun for you, kind of turn-based, very role-oriented, you're the X, this is what you do, like 4th ed will be fun for you.
I've always been playing 5th. Like, we played 5th so much. Like, we played the crap out of 5th. I mean, we've gone into so much homebrew stuff on 5th. I've always wanted to play more different kinds of tabletops, and I've got to do it a lot recently with X-Crawl on Goodman Games, and I've been playing a lot of DCC and stuff like that, which is a lot of fun, but I've only played 5th edition, like a lot of it. And I've wanted to play other kinds of tabletops, but I haven't had the opportunity yet. But soon, hopefully.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we'll like futuristic Drunks and Dragons, or I don't know. Probably not, but maybe.
You guys should role play in Among Us, like tabletop.
Oh,
that would be
very trendy of us.
That, or we should.
But I don't think none of us play Among Us. So
how do you guys not play Among Us?
God, that seems like it's a shoe-in.
You guys do Pokemon, you guys do Animal Crossing, but not.
I do, but I don't know. I just don't. It's not for me. I don't know.
I love that our DM here, Leviathan, is calling me out for.
He is.
He likes to push things to extremes.
And since he's redeeming the points, you feel obligated to say it, don't you?
Yeah, I'll read it out. Sure. He's basically putting words in my mouth in the chat here. So Jeff hates 5th edition, searing hatred, a deep furnace of rage. Except 5th, Jeff hates 5th, and the people that play it. I
think that's accurate. I don't think that's wrong. I think that's accurate. I mean,
I think she's calling me out now
too.
Yeah. In full disclosure, Everstorm really is our first real attempt at 5e.
Mm-hmm.
How many episodes are you guys on?
Oh my god, we're 50 almost. We're near
something like
50.
that. Yeah, it's
insane.
a lot.
Me and Fishy talk about that all the time. We're like, dude, 50 episodes. That's
We're at
crazy.
50 forever. We're nearing. Levi will correct us because he'll say it's like 48 or something here in a second when he does the math. But yeah, we're nearing almost 50. That's right. See,
Almost 50.
yeah, and we've talked about this a few times, and Levi has kind of loosely quoted us 100 sessions of Everstorm. So this is like the midway point for Everstorm.
Apparently.
It blows my mind to think that we're only midway through this campaign technically, but
We'll all be on walkers by the time we end it, you know. our characters will have like 3 generations of children, and
that's why I'm playing an elf. I'm the only one who gets to keep my character through the whole thing.
That's what you think. Yeah, it was Spooky Sprinkles reading. Oh, actually, we should go through the other ones. Yeah, King Fishy says Turkey hates Among Us.
He's calling me out, man. I didn't want to say it, but I hate it. I'm sorry.
You hate it, huh?
It's fair. Levi's calling you out. Fishy's calling me out. It's all fair game at this point.
This is what we get for having chat involvement. You see, this is what happens when you decide to involve chat in your show. You get your own people just hating on you a lot. Like that's just what happens.
Yeah,
it's a life I've accepted.
Spooky Sprinkles is saying, "Why play Among Us when you could play Pokemon and Animal Crossing?" Though, I don't know. I played either of them. And Leviathan's calling Everstorm the cocoon. Oh, we're gonna evolve into something else.
A beautiful butterfly.
That's how we're mixing Pokemon into it.
Yeah. What?
We're gonna have to.
Yes.
I do think it'd be kind of interesting to get into that stuff. You know.
Oh, what is it?
I was just saying, like, branching into some of these like weird crossover kind of themes. Like, obviously, we keep referencing Pokemon a lot. Like, have you done like any tabletop Pokemon stuff? Because I think they've made a role playing game for it.
I haven't even looked into it. I looked into like doing some Star Wars tabletop stuff, and Joker was trying to help me out with that. I heard that like Jedi are super broken, or at least you can't have a couple Jedi and then one bounty hunter, because say there's a large platform up high. You're like, okay, Jedi, how do you get there? They force jump. Okay, bounty hunter, how do you get up there? You know,
I got the jetpack.
Yeah,
throw my lasso, and it's much more complicated. So I heard there's a learning curve on it, but we thought about doing a Jedi tabletop, especially because we have actual lightsabers that we have dueled with on Wacky Wednesday before. So, but yeah, that's about as far as I got.
Yeah, and also the chat's making sure we realize that that was a reference to the movie The Cocoon, which yes, I get it.
Okay. Also, I was like, there isn't a Cocoon Pokemon, but you've never played, so I won't judge you for it.
Shinobi233 redeems a question for Turk. How did you get the idea for the fancy time? And maybe you should explain what fancy time is.
Tell us a little about fancy time, where you get your inspiration for that.
Yeah, really good question. So Connor was sitting in the studio doing that voice, and then we went, oh man, that's so funny. We should do that more. And then we're like, oh, what if we got top hats and monocles? And then we were just like, we went off with it. And then it was Halloween, and I went to the 99-cent store and seen the top hats. And I was like, okay, boys, we're making this happen. So then I bought the top hats, and they were practicing. They were practicing fancy voices for like 2 hours, going, oh. And Sprinkles was doing talking dragons, and in the background, that's all you can hear is these guys. And so the idea just came out of nowhere. And when an idea like that comes out of nowhere, it's if there's an idea somewhere and we're laughing at it, we're like, we think this is amazingly funny. I bet other people will too. So that's when we kind of build on it. If we think something's funny, we try to do our best to make it happen more. And I think seasons moving forward, we're not only going to have fancy time, but fancy time next season might turn into army time, where the characters are acting like drill sergeants or something like that. And we're going to keep expanding on it as time keeps going. But yeah, good question, Shinobi. Yeah. If we think something's funny, we run with it.
That's pretty
on just a bigger level, having seen a few of your campaigns you put together, where do you come up with the inspirations for your campaigns themselves? Is it all just from the players and the backgrounds, or do you come up with these things and then the players and then you meld them together? Like, which kind of direction do you go?
Mm-hmm.
So there was one season where I actually used a campaign setting from a previous season, like not a season, but a previous session that we played before we were streaming. I came up with this idea for like stones and gems and stuff, but I guess a lot of campaign overlying stories kind of just come from other places. I really feel like everyone kind of dips into shows that they've seen and stuff like that. Like There was some Netflix show I watched recently that has something to do with collecting all these keys. Like there was these kids collecting keys. You know what I'm talking about? But it was like magical anyway. So they were collecting these objects, and I was like, well, we should collect objects, and then we could build one larger object, and that could be like a whole campaign setting. And for Drunks and Dragons, having an overlying story is the only way to do it, because there's all this nonsense going on down here, but then there's still a story slowly moving forward for everyone to pay attention to, you know?
And as an avid viewer of the show, we frequently refer to that as the spine of the skeleton, right? Like you can have all the other nonsense going on, but you have to have that spine that kind of ties it all together. So yeah, I mean, I think that has definitely got to be there. It's just interesting to think that with all of the shows you do and the amount of time you put into editing and the amount of time you put into putting the stuff out there onto your YouTubes, and you guys were doing a podcast, you and Fishy, for a while. Like all this
which
stuff
is back, by the way.
Is it coming back?
Yeah, the 24th episode just released on our YouTube channel this morning.
Oh, I didn't see it come out yet, so I'll have to watch it after the show. So.
Yeah, and we actually reference you being like, you guys need to do that more because you're the one that gave us inspiration to do it.
I told you guys you need to do it more. I didn't think you really would, but I mean, I should. I mean, it was there. I was like, you guys need to bring back Couchcast.
It's just me and him kind of shooting the shit, and we talk a lot about stuff like this, like where our minds go whenever we're doing stuff, and we talk about a lot of behind the scenes stuff with like costumes and wardrobes and you know what I mean, stuff like that. So yeah, it's very cool, and I'm happy that we did it. I was so excited, but yeah, that's all there. I
was just trying to imagine where you have time to watch a Netflix show.
Oh,
it doesn't seem like at this point you got any more hours left in the day, Turk.
I watched Lock and Key like a year ago, but at nighttime, Sprinkles likes to watch shows, and so she kind of forces me to go and lay down and watch shows with her. She kind of levels me out, man. She really helps. She's like, you're stressed out. Get the fuck, quit editing shit and come and lay down, you know? And I'm like, all right.
I know that life. Timeline. Okay, let's get the sound. Oh God, his lips moved. No.
Stuff. I don't know what they're talking about. My job is to run social media. I post stuff. I show up to play. I have no clue what they're talking about right now.
Yeah, and I should clarify as well. She doesn't force me to do it. She comes in and she goes, "Okay, I'm going to bed." You know how a good girlfriend does. You know, just like subtly being like, "It's your turn to go to bed now too." You know,
random hook shows up from around the corner and pulls you off stage.
Yeah, exactly. But I had to start wearing headphones because you don't realize how much you play when you're editing a video, how much you play something over and over and over again until there's someone sitting right next to you.
Yeah. Oh, it drives you mad. That's something you haven't run into, Dustin, is the pure madness of editing audio. Same stupid 2 seconds like 70 times in a row.
And then you become desensitized to it, so you think it's on time but it's not, so you have to show someone else, the person who's also been watching it over and over again, to be like, is this on time? Because my brain thinks it is, but it might not be.
It's a whole hidden world back there that most people don't dive into. Thankfully it doesn't happen as much for like the Twitch stuff, transferring that over to YouTube, because for us, like at least on my side of the editing on that stuff, we're just kind of like, hey, this is what it was. Cool, let's cut off the front and the end. If there's any gaps where things went wacky, let's take those out. But otherwise, just smooth out the audio, call it a day. And
I was so happy when I discovered that feature, by the way. I didn't even know that was a thing until like a few months ago. So yeah, I was so happy.
Yeah. Now, for like pure YouTube videos, though, like that's where you get into that like heavy editing. How much of that are you doing?
Well, currently, not as much. Thank God. I've just been highlighting a lot of stuff. We've kind of moved away from YouTube a little bit. We used to do insane amounts of stuff on YouTube, like outrageous amounts and like painful things. But
where you guys got started was YouTube.
Yeah, we started on YouTube. We shot each other with paintball guns. We spray painted tic-tac-toe on our backs and then played with colors with the paintball gun. And we stuck our hand in mouse traps and guessed, different kinds of cheeses while we were blindfolded and slingshotted candy corn at each other's foreheads from 2 feet away. And well, anyways, perfect
YouTube content.
A testament to how close friendships they all have, that they are able to do this and not kill each other when it's all over.
It's very true. Me and Fishy coming up on 11 years of friendship, so I mean it's fair.
And some of those early roots have bled into Drunks and Dragons a bit, because there's still slaps that happen where
we were under the impression that people thought pain was funny, and so that's what we did. We were like, let's hit each other, you know?
They don't call it slapstick for nothing.
Yeah, slapstick comedy at its finest. Yeah, so even especially in the beginning of Drunks and Dragons, there was like straight up cards in our deck of drunken cards where we would just slap each other. Like that was just a thing. That's not there anymore because I mean you can't really slap someone in a bird mask. But yeah,
I mean,
so we're gonna
just disaster. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to ruin an expensive bird mask, you know. But yeah, I don't do a lot of editing. I did a lot last month with all the extra things we were doing. I did little horror videos that I edited for Reggie and Barry, like murdering each other. It was like murdering each other. We did a lot of extra Ghoul Couch stuff. Recently now I'm just kind of editing, like I do these news things for Hero Approved where I kind of like shout out what everyone's been doing for the past week and etc. And yeah, that's pretty much it, but not too much editing.
And those change kind of by the week. So I mean, like you said, you're shooting this stuff weekly. Like I said, it's an incredibly aggressive schedule, like for the amount of shooting you do. It's amazing. And the level of quality that all of it's done at, it really is fantastic. So
well, I appreciate you saying that, Dustin. Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Definitely agree.
It's definitely a level of talents I don't have. Like,
yeah.
So I get fascinated when I see people do things I can't do. I'm like, man, they really put this thing together. It looks really, really good. Like full-fledged fishy commercials doing the news. Like it's all
and
good stuff.
New Shane. We might be recording new Shane stuff on Wednesday and all other kinds of new videos and stuff on Wednesday because it's, you know, it's time for new stuff. And Fishy knows it. I don't know if he's here, but we might be recording new stuff soon. But yeah,
he was here
especially when you
earlier,
think about, it's just kind of me just sitting in the dark editing by myself for hours, you know? Yeah, it's what I love to do. So, I mean, it, you know, makes it easy.
Nice.
You know, I like creating this fun content to make people laugh at stuff, even if it's only one time, you know?
Now, the stuff that you're running in between on the breaks and stuff, like, I'm always kind of curious how much of that is scripted, how much of that is ad-libbed.
So when Barry and Reggie are sitting there talking to each other about what's going on, that's all ad-libbed, like 100%.
Holy shit.
And yeah, it's so deep in their characters, it's just easy. And this last time we did it, I actually had to hold my hand up to tell them to stop because there was too much. And I was going to have to cut it off. I was like, okay, it's been like 14 minutes. You need to stop. It's 10-minute breaks, guys. You know, they were just going off talking about stuff. And it's crazy to me how much those two actually pay attention to the story and what's been happening and stuff. Because they knew stuff that I forgot about. And I'm the DM, you know? So, yeah, they just go off. And they connect so well. It's like...
That's when you know you've gotten yourself into the shoes of your character, when you can just go and just randomly start talking and it just spirals into awesomeness. Because that feels almost scripted, like at the level of like clarity of those exchanges and those commercials. So like I actually kind of thought those were scripted just by the way they kind of played out.
So there are some scripted things, but when they're doing the improv sitting next to each other, it is improv. Like when they're talking about the currency and stuff, it's scripted. And there's loads of bloopers from that. Like Connor was having a heyday. Like there's like 15 minutes of bloopers that we actually showed afterwards. But yeah, the currency one is scripted, but everything else is straight up improv.
Yeah, well, the currency won't have to be scripted because you're trying to just convey information. But yeah,
yeah,
I mean, that's a very informational one that if you come in, it teaches you how to use the channel, which, like I said, there is a bit of that is necessary. You can't just put that in a panel down below somewhere and expect people to find it and figure out what's going on. So right,
it's a lot easier when you repeat it over and over and over again. You know, than just.
One season I know one season of Drunks and Dragons, you guys had a guest DM, the Lich. Lich came in, he was your DM. Let you go back to the player's seat for a little bit.
Yeah, that was nice.
Is there any plans for any more guest DMs for Drunks and Dragons?
I don't think so. I think we all had a fun time with the guest DM thing, but then towards the end of it, we realized how much more like we could do together with all of us here, and you know, I mean, being able to communicate so easily with each other as friends that it makes it easier if one of us is the DM, if that makes any sense.
So
I don't know.
Also, playing online it is different.
Yeah, it's rough. Like we're not a stone throw away from each other. Like I can't just drive over to your house, Dustin, and knock on your door at 2 a.m. in my underwear. Like I have an idea. You're not answering your phone. You know, not that I do that.
No,
not that I thought about doing that.
Never.
Oh. Wisdom check for Dustin. Is karaoke supposed to sound good? Oh man, I very rarely ever does it, and often if I'm at a karaoke bar and someone gets up there and sings and they are really good, I find it almost pretentious. Like they came here just to show everyone else up, and now we all feel like we can't sing because of that one asshole who did a really, really good job at whatever song they did. So, no, I don't think it's supposed to be good. I know.
And as a bonus, if you sing karaoke too good on Twitch, you'll get copyright striked. So keep singing it bad.
Have you guys actually had that happen to you?
Yeah. Every time Link, well, I don't know if it's just Queen songs in general, but every time Link would sing Queen songs, they would get copyright striked. But every time we'd sing anything else ever, we're totally fine. And I don't know what the deal is, but
You know what's amazing about that?
We got copyright striked when I sang Linkin Park too. I sang it tried to actually sing it good, and we got copyright striked. So
Well, that's under when you're covering something, it's okay so long as it's not for monetization. At least is my understanding of like the terms of service and all that kind of stuff. But that is kind of hilarious that you sang it well enough that it picked you up for that.
Yep, because Twitch doesn't know the difference. They're like, oh, they're just straight up playing the song, so then you get striked for it. Yeah.
Did you play like the background music or something?
Yeah. That's what we do on our show when we sing the songs. Yeah. So if you sing them too good, it just straight up sounds like the song.
Yep.
But you did a karaoke version of it, the song. I mean, it does not have the actual singer singing, so it's just the background music and then singing to it. So
that's why.
But I can see why the algorithms might pick it up, depending on how much of always figure it's a lot of times how much of a break there is. If there's like a solo where no one's doing anything but you're just hearing the music, like I can see it might pick up.
That's true too. I didn't think about that.
Like that, where you don't have a voiceover that's going to interrupt the actual music itself.
Mm-hmm. It only takes 2 or 3 seconds of a song before the algorithm will snack you. Happens on YouTube all the freaking time, and I hate it.
Oh yeah, YouTube though. YouTube doesn't care if you could sing it, you could play a small beat of it. It doesn't care. You're getting striked no matter what. Like it doesn't matter if you're karaokeing it. You could sing it without the music, and YouTube will copyright strike you for it.
Mm-hmm.
But Twitch is a different story. I was referring to Twitch, but YouTube is like no go for anything.
Mm-hmm.
I've been copyright striked on YouTube for my own music. So yeah.
How does that work?
I don't know.
That's amazing.
They were like, you wrote this is a song owned by Turkey Terror, and I'm like, yeah.
So did you go check out the original work that you were allegedly too close to, and just to see how close you were by accident? Like, were you like?
No, it copyright striked me for my own song. I recorded my song. I sent it out through a distributor. They put it on the platforms, and then I used the song on a YouTube video, and it went, "This is by Turkey Terror. You can't use it." And I was like, what? And I tried to appeal it, and they were like, no, sorry. So
yeah, that's the weird thing about that. Like, we're getting a little into the weeds of this stuff, but for the viewers, you need to know why we don't use music a lot of times that isn't like 100% made by us, and that's because of this sort of shit. And I had explicit permission from the writer of the music, the composer, the producer, and the label to use a piece. Had all those pieces in writing, put it in my video, immediately get struck, appeal it, give them all that information, still struck.
Yeah, they don't care.
I was like, what?
I had been fortunate that all the music I took for Horror in Huttenberg I got from Patrick de Arteaga, and I had email communications with him, and he was like, yes, use my stuff and just make sure you put my website address on there on each video and you're good to go. And I was like, that's not a problem. And I don't think we've had any problems with the Huttenberg music. And we are also very fortunate here that we have a Cameron.
Yeah.
We have actually we actually have 3 musicians at TT2KB. One of which does a show where he makes music for our shows. And so Cameron did make a little music for us for Huttenberg and for the zombie game that's this week. And so we are fortunate that we're able to originally create, and you guys have that over there, the Grouch Couch as well. At least I know for a while you guys were working on stream making music as well.
Mm-hmm. I am also a Cameron.
Yes.
No, I'm just kidding. But we did a stream for a little while where we recorded stuff live, and it's nice because I can just do all the instrumentals, and then the other guys can come in and do vocals and stuff. And it's a lot of fun. We were Tyler was coming in for a long time when he was like actually active with us. Mm-hmm. He came in for a long time, was doing vocals and stuff, and that was fun.
It was really entertaining. I watched a lot of that. it's some of the coolest shit is like seeing like just how the creative process unfolds. You know, like I think it's like one of the better things that comes from, you know, building these relationships and stuff, is that like you could see like how people are going about creating the content and learn a lot about who they are, you know, about like what makes them tick, what they really think about when they're putting stuff together. And I don't know, it's been like a really cool thing to see, like, you know, artists putting stuff up, you know, them like making their art on the fly, showing you the process, or like musicians doing the same thing. So it's really cool. It gives people an appreciation for it that I think may go, you know, I don't know, just unobserved, you know, just by consuming the media itself.
Absolutely. I feel like a lot of people don't realize a lot of the work that goes into even the smallest little things. And I think streaming and stuff's cool too, because like you said, people kind of get to know you and what makes you tick and stuff like that. And I feel like people can relate to you, especially if you're a musician that's struggling and then you watch another musician who's struggling doing his thing. It might inspire you to keep moving forward, you know? So
yeah, I think that's definitely true. Like, you know, like with YouTube, there was when I was first doing that, I haven't really been keeping up with it too much. But when I was first starting, there were like certain other YouTubers I was kind of interacting with. And, you know, we were kind of like at various points of like achievement, you know, like, so I was like this total rookie. And then like you had a couple that were like a year into it. And there's some people that like actually made it and kind of figured their thing out. And it was just really cool, like touching base with them and saying like, okay, what's worked for you? What hasn't? Like, I'm focusing really hard on this, like, and they're like, oh yeah, well that's don't worry about that. That's not a thing. Turns out you need to be doing this. I'm like, oh no shit. Okay, cool. And then, you know, you start to understand like the kind of the process to it, but then you return back to what makes you you, because that's the secret sauce that kind of like will make your audience or make people completely ignore you. So it was just really cool because, like you said, you did get that reinforcement. You got to kind of go through the struggle together with somebody else and say like, oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. You know, keeps you motivated, keeps you moving forward.
So
it does.
As a media group, what is kind of the end game goal for the Grouch Couch? Do you have like here's where we eventually want to be? Do you look at your trajectory and you're like, boom, there's where we want to go? Like,
I mean, man, I've got huge, like, not even logical dreams. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Like stuff that will not happen no matter what. But I think any step forward at any point is fantastic. And I think where we are right now is just awesome. And every day I feel like we don't deserve all the love that we get. And I'm always just like, I'm worried, you know, I'm like, people are, you know, there's no reason for anyone to show up, and then everyone does, and everyone has a great time. And it, I don't know, it makes me feel awesome to know that we're making people laugh and stuff like that. So a lot of times I don't think about where we should be or where we want to go or whatever it is. I'm really just trying to appreciate where we are, if that makes any sense. Like all the new friends we have, and being able to do this right now with you guys is amazing. And if I would have told myself 4 years ago that I'd be on a talk show with you guys talking stuff, like I wouldn't believe myself. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what I think.
Yeah, that is a
The
really.
dreams. Fishy said the dreams. Yeah, Fishy was like, dude, what if we had like a big glass window and like mannequins? We could put our costumes on them and show it to the world. And like, yeah, so we've talked about unlogical things that make no sense, but I mean, you know, not saying your dreams don't make sense, Fishy, because they're wonderful dreams, and I would love if they were.
Fishy, your dreams are valid. Don't let him tell
your
you.
dreams are valid, Fishy. I love you, buddy. I think it's great, and I would also want to get a big glass store window and put our costumes in the windows.
We all see you. Yeah, it is
Maybe
really
that's how you
surreal.
could do maybe that's how you can do your like upcoming character reveals for next season. Just have the mannequins with the costumes, but nobody out of context. Nobody knows what it means. Like
Coming soon, yeah, dude.
coming soon with just the mannequins with all the costumes on it. It's like
It's a weird
I think that
silhouette.
guy's a pirate. Like you'd have the community guessing what the hell each character is going to be.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah.
So we have dreams. I didn't mean to get all sappy. I'm sorry.
You should, man.
but
You should. It's.
yeah.
I mean, it is a really interesting thing because, you know, I think as somebody watching a content creator, it's sometimes there's like a disconnect between the fact that that's just a person, you know, like
Yeah.
you know, and I obviously like the big example would be like celebrities, right? So like, you know, an actor or whatever, like they feel like a completely different different class of human being from, you know, the average person. But like with the streamers and like YouTubers, it's just a group of people or an individual just kind of chilling in their apartment, like. I think I can do a thing, maybe. You know,
And then they do. Yeah.
And then you find people, like you said, that are like into the content, that like appreciate it, that want to come in there and check it out. And that is really a beautiful thing. So like, I mean, you're saying like it's getting sappy and all, but like, I think it's deserved, like I think it's a thing you got to give back and appreciate the fact that you do have people coming in the chat, listening to you and carving out time to be entertained and enjoy what you're doing. It feels really good to be in that position, to be able to kind of put that stuff out there.
Yeah.
Now, something else that I've noticed too, and I don't, with us, maybe it's different because we do this show where we get on here and we talk like we have all the answers sometimes. But when you run enough games online and everything, and you start to build up like a viewer base, do you find that the people coming into your community come to you at like you have some level of like expertise in D&D at this point, like to ask you questions? Do you get a lot of questions your direction from, and even though you've only been playing really for like a year and a half, maybe 2 years, it seems like?
Well, I get a lot of questions. People ask me like, do you have any suggestions on how to stream D&D? It's not like how do you play D&D, it's how do you stream D&D. Yeah, and a lot of times I've thought about wanting to make tutorials on like how to do the fun bot command things that I spend hours setting up, or how to do other stuff like that. But then at the same time, I'm like, well, who wants to listen to this nerd talk about how to do stuff? Like, I feel like that's not my place, Yeah, but I get a lot of questions about how to stream D&D, like a lot. And I always try to do my best to help teach, people as least best that I can, give good advice and stuff. But that's pretty much what I get.
I'll tell you what, you'd be surprised. And I know Jeff will tell this story after I mention it. But one of Jeff's biggest YouTube video hits he ever had was an explanation of how to basically recode one thing in a video game that he was playing. Like, it wasn't the video game of him playing it. It was the how to recode something that went off for like ridiculous number of views. So
I feel like I went to your YouTube channel and I seen that. I feel like I've seen it. And I remember being like, that's a lot of views on that thing right there. Yeah. I feel like I've seen it.
It was that actually kind of annoyed me. Cause like I had spent, okay, here's a mini rant. Sorry guys. But on my YouTube channel, I'd been going for like a year and a half of just like, I'm putting like 6 hours into each video of like, okay, I'm going to be like really into this like Let's Play series. I'm going to put it together. I'm going to do all this massive amounts of editing. I'm going to take real good care of it and like set a tone and everything's going to be great. And I did that. And like, I got like 20 views, 15, 3. Oh, I got 14. Yay. Right. And then like, okay, I'll do another series. I got a couple people that are really cool. They're coming in, they're hanging out, chatting a lot in the comments and stuff. They're making like art and stuff. And it was awesome. So I had like these diehard fans that were there, and they meant a lot to me, and they still mean a lot to me. But I just kind of plugged on, and I would get like maybe like 50 views on something. It was like nothing, right? And like I get to this point where I'm like, all right, I'm going to talk about this mod I found, because like I don't like the way this character is built in this video game. So I'm going to like do one where you can respec your character. And so I'm like, here's how I try to do it. And then here's this mod that makes it infinitely easier. And I describe that. And it's a pretty serious, video overall. But then I decided I'll just put a stupid like thumbnail on it that just has the character's face and then a word bubble that says I suck. And that was it. And apparently that's all it took. Like this little like 6-minute video or whatever it is with this stupid thumbnail on it. Suddenly it's like, oh, you got 20,000 views overnight. I'm like, are you fucking serious? Like, this is what my channel's going to be known for? Is that video?
But here's what happens though. And this is where I was going to get back to what Turk was saying. Like, you don't think anybody wants to watch you do this. But if you put those small set of tutorials out on how you do some of this stuff, there will be people find your YouTube channel and then come watch your Twitch content because they found those videos. And that's something that I really, when I talk to the other guys at T2KB, one of the things I always find that I feel like makes us really special, and what I think I can also say about the Grouch Couch, because you're one of the groups that does this too, is that we have our hands in a lot of different pies. Mm-hmm. Like I said, we have an art show, we have a music show, we have DM prep shows. We have our actual shows where we play the games, and then we have like podcasts like we're doing right now. You guys, like I said, have a lot of those same. You fill a lot of those same kinds of voids that we do. A video game night, like we all do these same kinds of things. Like, and there's very few other Twitch streams out there who are that aggressive with everything
and
that they do.
Have scheduled days for each one of these things. Like, because
Right,
you guys have your art night and your game night, and you know what I mean? We have scheduled days for that stuff. So if you tune in on that day, you know what you're in for. So I totally understand it. You guys are the tabletop to keyboard media group. Patent pending.
That's you can't say shit like that, Turk, because here's what will happen.
Hey man, we're the Grouch Couch media group. We have business cards now, man.
Now
They say on them.
don't even get me started on business cards. But
I've got some over here.
you say something like that, then what'll happen is Clint will have to start drawing up a new logo, and Levi will start working on some new art overlays.
I'm sorry, but all you guys are making media's, content for this thing. So
we gotta find some way to fit media group now at the bottom of the logo and make it look good up to specs. So
sorry about that, but it sounds good. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, we're all working on stuff every day of the week, and we all kind of work on stuff a lot. And I feel like me and Fishy sometimes relate to you two a lot, you two guys, because we talk about like things you guys do, and you know what I mean, how you guys are doing awesome stuff, and like, because we're always like, maybe we could expand and do something else, and then we're like, nah, and they're like, well, tabletop keyboard are doing fucking other awesome things. And we're like, yeah, we could do as like, nah, we're not going to do that, But yeah.
I don't ever worry about it because, and I remember we were talking like, if you guys do a music show and we do a music show, like it's not detracting from anything. Like
it's different stuff. Yeah,
it's a flood raises all ships, right?
Exactly.
So,
absolutely.
People coming in there will find each other. They'll find us, and they'll we're all out there doing a lot of these same things. It's rare to find another group that really like on our level like has all these different things that they do throughout the week. And like I said, I consider you guys and us to be really rare amongst those kind of I guess entertainers. I guess in a way, at the end of the day, we're entertainers. I
guess
think
so,
of myself as one, but we're entertainers. So
let me entertain you. Yeah. No, it's very true. It's very true. Because I mean, like, that's the goal, right? We go into this thing knowing that we want to entertain people. That's what we want to do. Like from the very beginning, we talked about this the last podcast that we did together. But even whenever we started our YouTube channel, we were like, we want to entertain people. We want to give people something to laugh at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like an escape. Like that's what we did. So like, we'll slap the crap out of each other and shoot each other with paintball guns to give people a distraction, to entertain them, to make people laugh. Like that's the whole goal, and that's, I think we've realized that on the Grouch Couch as a whole, like show first, game second. And even with our Wacky Wednesday stuff, we're playing video games, but the video game is kind of like the background thing, what the characters are doing, what Willie the Wizard is doing over here is kind of like the main event, like everyone's seen Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but no one's seen Willie the Wizard play Assassin's Creed Valhalla, so show first and entertainment, man.
It's a little bit of Inception, it's people playing characters. And it's kind of like that for you guys. And you put it in everything you do. You definitely got a brand, I guess. You have like a brand at this point set up for what people expect from all your content, no matter if it's music or art or writing stories. Like you've got it. Everything fits within what you guys are and what you do.
We are Turkey. Bum 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 bum. Oh, you said we're rare turkey. Never mind.
Yeah, rare turkey. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say though, like getting back kind of to that content you were talking about. People are asking you for that information because they like what you're doing. They believe in what you're doing, and I think as a content creator, there's a lot of I don't know what's the term. What is it when you're like you feel like you don't belong in a station? Imposter syndrome. There it is. It was like old man brain.
I knew where you were going with it. Imposter syndrome.
I mean, the imposter syndrome thing is real, I think. And I think the biggest thing I've learned on here, but never really take advantage of, like I always like talk myself out of it, is that people do want what you have. Like they believe that you have a value. Otherwise, they wouldn't be watching your stuff. Otherwise, they wouldn't be participating in your chat. And, if they're asking you for help, like making content, especially for Twitch, which I think you guys really nail, I think you would kill it with the videos. I think you guys would put some stuff up there, talk about the process, some of the stuff we're talking about right now, about what's making your guys' channel really work, kind of the philosophy behind it, kind of the tricks of the trade, so to speak. I mean, obviously there's going to be some people who are going to self-select out, but as we've said earlier, that's true of the channel in period. And you're going to find the people that are going to be diehard, that are trying to create something that kind of represents something that you're putting out there. And they're going to look for your video on YouTube and say, like, this is exactly what I want to do. Here's how they do it. Maybe I can start too. And I don't know, at least for us, I know as a tabletop to keyboard, like I said, we were just like amateur dudes, just like randomly deciding to make a channel. But we've seen tons of people in our Discord and our other chats and stuff go on to make their own channels now. And and they say that they're inspired by the fact that somebody else they know, aka some of us, some of the other people in our orbit, are doing this content. And that's pretty fucking cool. It's really cool to be able to be like influential in that way, I guess. And I guess what I'm trying to say is you should definitely make those videos if it's not like a time crunch that's keeping you from it, because I think people would want to see that.
Well, man, I appreciate you saying that. I have thought about it a lot. Like, I was like, okay, how would I format this video? How would I do it properly? And then I was like, well, I did eventually come to the conclusion, like, I didn't think anybody would care. No one would watch it, Like, I didn't feel like I was the guy to make that video, if that makes any sense. But I guess you're kind of right. But also, there are people in our little community, too, that have made Twitch channels, and they're trying to grow, and you know what I mean? Like, they're actually streaming and doing stuff. And I really feel like, you know what I mean? Old ugly old red-haired turkey making Twitch and is doing okay, then that means I can do it too. You know what I mean? And it's cool to inspire people to be able to do that. And I think creative outlets are awesome. So yeah, it's great. You're weird, man. It's really cool. It's cool stuff.
Is there something that seems to be missing from the Turk plate? Something you need to dig into?
There's a metaphor I'm missing.
I don't know if it's a metaphor.
You got a plate of options in front of you, the things that represent your channel, the things that you've got you're juggling on your plate, so to speak. Is there a niche or a content type that you would wish to put out there that you aren't currently putting out that you may want to do?
Okay, Jeff, I have so many ideas all the time, and Fishy gets mad. Fishy goes, Turkey, I already work 5 days a week. I only have 2 days to help you. Like, I can't be doing all this all the time. You know what I mean? And I have so many ideas. I had one idea to do this thing talking about, like, I guess the Creepy Stories show that I kind of did kind of is what came out of it. But I wanted to have late night conversations with people about the world and ideas and, you know what I mean, astrological stuff and stuff like that. Just like a couple people just hanging out talking about what they think. Like, there's a show called The Midnight Gospel where they just talk about stuff back and forth. And right? And obviously there's a market for it, you know what I mean? Because I lay up late at night thinking about stuff and how the world rotates, and you know what I mean? And I had an idea to do a talk show like that, but we never ended up doing it. And that's just one example of so much stuff. But the big thing is with the Grouch Couch is that I always want to make sure, because we work really hard on the shows that we do with the production and the graphics and the videos and all the other stuff, that every time someone tunes into it, they know they're going to have a good time and they know that they're going to laugh. You know what I mean? So beta testing this stuff, or so to speak, is always on our minds, because we want to make sure, like, the quality stamp of approval on the Grouch Couch. So I do like random things on my personal channel to test stuff out a lot of the times and stuff like that. But yeah. What about you guys? You guys have any ideas? Oh, we got a question.
We got a question for. Well,
it's
I think he may have answered. He may have answered your question better than you did. What's missing is, he says, is mashed potatoes. What he wants is a culinary show. We need the Turk culinary hour of. Like, you've already got one made. You just pull it out from under the counter when you're done. Like, and here's my souffle. And it's.
We had ideas to do a cooking show with our D&D characters in the kitchen, and it'd be outlandish and insane. Like, I was going to do one as Moon and Wizard and pull gray hairs out of some potatoes. So that was actually going to be a thing there. Like, cooking
but it can't be regular food. It's got to be like, so here's how you prepare your dragon scale. You gotta pull, like, you gotta get all the ingredients out, like the bullshit ingredients that don't really exist.
Yeah, we were legit gonna like smash stuff and make it look horrible, and then zoom cut to the oven and pull out this amazing souffle. We're gonna do that.
Oh, that sounds so good.
Hey, you know what? If the show idea itself doesn't stick, you can always put it in one of your commercials during your breaks, right? Like you go
We're gonna have to make a skit about it, like 100%. Like that needs to be a thing.
That's fucking hilarious.
Thank you for the redeem, Viper Mara. Now, when that happens someday, you could be like, I was there when that idea came about. Like, your 250 wisdom check redeem question points put well to use.
Yeah, see, Sprinkle said, I've been
Thanksgiving skit.
discussing this since like last January. Yeah, I'm telling you, that was the thing, man. Telling you.
Spooky's right, though. A Thanksgiving skit would be perfect for that kind of content, you know?
It should be me. It should be me making that video. My name is Turkey. I'm the guy to make.
How could it be anyone else? You can't have Fishy do it. You can't have Fish do it. I mean, he can
do something on a fish holiday. All right, this is a turkey holiday.
During Lent, when you're only allowed to eat fish during Lent, right? How to produce fish every week because you can only.
You theme it as if it's like some kind of monster for Dungeons and Dragons. Here's how you cook your turkey, your owl bear. You know?
Yeah,
that's what I was gonna say. You have to do like how to properly prepare owl bear.
Make like a cookbook. I know they have skooma and sweet rolls. Yeah,
right. Yeah,
good idea. You know, skeeter pea and stuff like that. Do our actual canned stuff. Rat stew. Yeah,
there was a cooking show that my grandpa used to watch. Justin Wilson, Cajun Cooking. If you ever seen him, he would always pull out bourbon and he would put it into every one of his recipes. So you can do that with Skeeter Pea. Just every time you pull out that bag of Skeeter Pea, you put a little dab in there because it was a secret ingredient of all of his cooking. Every time he did one was he would.
The Skeeter Pea came and went so fast, but it's such a big meme and it's such lore for us at this point. Like, but Skeeter Pea, for anyone who doesn't know, is actually you get a box of wine. You can get red or white, whatever you're feeling. Then you open the box and you take the bag out. Now, in the alternative culture, the punk rock culture, they call this space bag. There's songs about it. They, turning water into space bags. Whenever we first started doing Drunks and Dragons, we need to drink wine. And then me and Fishy went, yeah, dude, let's get some space bag. And then somehow space bag turned into Skeeter Pea, which became this whole new entity. And for the longest time, I didn't know Skeeter Pea meant mosquito pea. I thought it was like Skeeter from Borderlands, Scooter. I was thinking Scooter, Skeeter. I was thinking it was like the little rat things from Borderlands. I don't know, but that's a history lesson, everybody.
That's amazing. Hey, Lollygaggers, thanks for joining us tonight.
Oh, yeah.
We are Aliens. Yeah, Aliens, awesome. We've got to do some of that. I thought of Skeeter from Doug as well. But yeah, we're talking to Turk from the Grouch Couch, and we are kind of coming in towards the end of the show here. But we have been talking a lot about what makes their show tick and all the awesome fan interactions, kind of the entertainer first kind of attitude, and just creativity just across the board of like new content ideas. And right now we were just briefly touching on the idea of Turk doing a Thanksgiving cooking show in the format of some kind of character. And it was pretty fucking awesome.
For Thanksgiving.
Welcome to that. But moving on. Anyways,
and no.
So some funny cards that we use on our show. Those are pretty fun.
I think you were getting ready to ask a question there, Turk. Did you have something you were going to ask?
Oh, I was going to say, what about you guys? Is there anything you guys feel like your show's missing?
Oh, like a show that we're missing from our room?
Yeah, something you're missing from your tabletop to keyboard plate. As Jeff would say.
My damn metaphors.
I've started doing this with Horan Huttenberg a little more so than I did with Terror and Treefell. But one of the things I wanted to do was I wanted to get more of a community game put together. When I did Terror and Treefell for me, when I ran Zweihander the first time, was an exploration of whether or not Dustin could pull a stream off by himself for game. Mm-hmm. So I went out and found music from Patrick de Arteaga to use for the game.
Nailed it.
I put together my own overlays and all that stuff because I didn't want to ask Levi to have to do any more than Levi was already doing, or Clint, because they already had a busy schedule. And I was like, I'm going to stream this thing myself, and I'll go find my own players. And so I went and asked some of my friends who, if you watched the episode yesterday, you got to see some of them on camera maybe for the first time. But
all of them were there.
So I like recruited these people to come in. Well, when Horn and Handbook came around, I'd met so many more people. I'm like, I'm going to go out and I'm going to get like some of the best role players I can find from other streams. And so I got Lindy and
You
Chuck.
didn't ask me. You know what I'm
I
going
did
to do.
too. For the record, I did too. You couldn't play because it was right before Drunks and Dragons. You had to do
Yeah,
the intro.
I know.
I actually did talk to you about it. Don't act like I didn't. I absolutely had that conversation with you at one point. So,
Oh man, that would have been fun.
so and when Vigilantes comes around, maybe we'll make this next one happen. But so I guess for me, like now that I've been bringing other people onto TT2KB to play in a game, like I realize like that's something I definitely want to do more of.
Yeah,
and
I think that's a good idea.
And it's been cool to like reach out and work with Chuck and work with Lindy and Alex from the Untold Stories Project, and have them come on and be players. And I think they had a really good time during this game.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm sure they'd come back if I asked them, but I think that's something that I want to do more of in the future. So as I'm freeing up part of my schedule for other stuff, I might work on opening up a second community game of some sort. And I already have an idea because somebody put the seed in my head the other night of what I should do next, and I might do it. So
Nice. Spoilers? I mean,
well,
that's
Bofferin was. I guess full disclosure. What happened was and he's a good friend of ours, and I want to have him come back on the show sometime soon too. But the Liching Hour did Girls' Night Out the other night. It was Cannibal Shia LaBeouf as what he ran for Halloween. And afterwards, there were a bunch of them hanging in Discord, so he invited me in, and Bofferin was there, and Bofferin's like, I need you and Jeff to run some vampire. I was like, oh, dude, I want to run World of Darkness. He's like, dude, I want you to run some World of Darkness, and I'll come play. I was like, I was drinking rum, and I may have decided I might do it. So that's how sometimes these things happen. I'm in. Guy hanging in the Discord, and it's like, we need you to run World of Darkness. I'm like, all right, maybe I'll do it.
God, I miss World of Darkness. I'll play.
That's what I'm saying. Like it might happen after I get my third Zweihander game in, or at the same time, depending on how scheduling works. So.
Hell yeah!
Nice, dude. I think the idea of community games is fantastic because I have a lot of people who ask to play with me all the time too, and I think community games is awesome. And I always wanted to do like a community and drunk show where like every other week it was, people from my Discord playing in costume and stuff like that. Give some other people a chance to do some stuff. We do community and drunks in our off season, which is actually coming up soonish. But to be able to do it more than that would be fantastic. I think community shows are awesome, especially because getting new faces and new players and stuff like that is always loads of fun.
And it's hard I think it's hard for us to expand our content because, between me, Levi, Clint, all of us, like we're pretty busy. We have kids. Yeah. Like we can't really expand any more nights a week than what we kind of already do. So to add anything else, I think would require to be a community like outreach kind of game of some
Makes
sort.
sense, yeah. I think it would be good to maybe bring people into the video game night. Seems like we got a lot of people in our chat, in our Discord that are interested in some of the video games we're playing, and not always do we have all of our players from our group available. So it might be kind of cool to sub some people in, give them a chance to be on the show, and joke around with this, have a good time. That's definitely the one thing I think we're missing is a bit more of that direct interaction as opposed to kind of the more indirect stuff that we've been doing. And there are other like content ideas that facets of our personalities I think that are not represented on the channel just yet. Like I'm a philosophy junkie, I'm like an astronomy junkie, tech, computers and stuff like that. I don't know how that would translate into a show, but it's definitely something I'm interested in.
You guys do have that awesome YouTube channel. You could make like tech and philosophy YouTube videos.
I could rant about stuff. It'd be great.
I know that's what you want to do is Jeff would want to get back more into the YouTube side of things as well. So.
A little bit, yeah. We need to make some specific YouTube content as opposed to just dumping things over there from Twitch. Because they are very different.
Decided that same thing recently.
I don't argue with it. I'm just like, you find the time, my friend, you go for it.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is a battle.
That is the battle. It's always the battle against time. Like we all have a lot of fun doing this show. I love all you viewers out there, everything else, but I have a job that pays the bills still. Like that's where the bulk of my time has been going lately. So
boy.
Very true, man. Yeah.
I was lucky to pull off Huttenberg like I did.
No shit, man. It was a good game, by the way. Good game.
Yeah, no, dude, fantastic. I was super happy to be able to check it out every week. Like I was like, finally, I can watch a tabletop the keyboard show every week. Well, every other week, but whatever, dude. I was excited. I could actually tune in, dude.
Yeah, I always appreciate having you guys in the chat. It's I know it's interesting. We've developed so many of these relationships with other not just YouTubers, Twitchers, streamers, people that Twitch and do the thing like
content creators, Jeff.
That's the word. Content creators,
media people. Yeah,
and obviously, we overlap with times, or we have stuff we got to do, and it is a lot of time devoted to that, and it makes it very difficult to check in with everybody. So any of those chances I get, and I can stop in, it's always a blessing, and it feels really good to go in there and see what you guys are doing. And I miss those opportunities, and I try to make them as often as I can. So
yeah, me too, dude. I appreciate it. It's crazy. I don't think we realize it enough, but like the community we have extends out tree branches to other places and then comes right back. Like,
sure does.
You know what I mean? Grouch Couch and Hero Approved and Tabletop to Keyboard, Defenders of Kobold, the Lollygaggers. You know what I mean? It all kind of like these things extend out and then come back. Like we're all kind of watching each other and you know what I mean, getting involved and stuff. And it's freaking. It's fucking dope, y'all. So
it really is.
You can say that here as many times as you need to, Turk.
Yeah, drop the F-bomb.
I've been trying not to cuss this whole time, but
you can here. We put it in our intro wisdom check just so you don't have to worry about it after.
Yeah.
I get to drop the first F-bomb every episode because it's in the intro.
And it's part of why our YouTube channel isn't working out too well. The algorithm's like, you said fuck within the first 30 seconds, you're out.
You're out. We're not pushing this out anywhere. Yeah.
Nope, not for kids.
Fun fact, I ad-libbed both of the F-bombs in both of our intros. So
it's true.
Totally my fault. It was not scripted.
Nice. Okay.
Just ad-libbed both of those in there. And
in that intro, did you guys record it in Discord? Like, were you guys all in Discord? Because your image quality looks way too good. So every time I watched it, I was like, did they script this because all their videos are like perfect? And like, I don't know.
We all recorded individually and then we put them together.
Yeah, we recorded individually, and Clint is just a maniac when it comes to editing. And Clint put the whole.
That's what I thought.
This is the level of this is getting into the weeds and seeing how the sausage is made. But there was a lot of back and forth discussion over what the script would be, what it would look like. There are Google Docs that will never see the light of day again. And when it was all done, we had a working script, and then we all got together and we were like, let's see if we can shoot this thing. And we tried it out like several takes, and like
Cam's neck broke. It was a rough time.
And then Clint took all that garbage and then like pretty much frame by frame pieced everything in there where he wanted it on each take.
That's insane. So were you guys all recording your own OBS and then in voice chat doing it? Yeah. Or did you all just sit there quietly and wait for your moment to say something?
We all recorded. I'm trying to remember. Did we record parts of it and then send it to each other and then do like a better version of it? And then like, I can't remember how we did that. It's been a while. It's been a long time.
I don't want to get too into it, but I was curious because the video quality is fantastic, and I was like, "There's no way they recorded that in Discord." Like, I was like, "There's no way." So I was just curious.
Clint's a technical wizard. He is an artificer of the highest level.
Oh, I remember how we did it.
He makes those things all happen. Like, we set a time where we all got online together. And fun fact: next time the wisdom check starts, you look at my rum bottle. It's empty when I take my drink at the end because that's how many takes we did. I killed the bottle before the take where we got it right, and my bottle is actually empty. So it's a little Easter egg for you next time you watch the intro. My bottle's empty because I already drank it all by the time we got to the final take.
Good thing one of your only lines was to ask someone else if they wanted more lines. You know?
No. Well, that's kick-ass. I did have fun making that one. But we are at the end of our time for tonight. So, Turkey, why don't you tell them exactly what they can find throughout your week? I know we've been talking about it a lot, but if you got like any links you want to drop, if you want to point them towards any other social media or anything like that, now is the time to go ahead and do that.
Well, I'm on the Grouch Couch. We do stuff on the Grouch Couch Wednesdays and Sunday nights now, officially. Sometimes we do extra stuff, but Wednesday night we do Wacky Wednesday, and Sunday night we do Drunks and Dragons, and that is a full production show that's so much dang old fun. If you want to catch me, you can catch me there. I have a personal Twitch channel that I sometimes stream games on with friends, but not very often. Just the Grouch Couch is my main project, friendos. And I do want to say thank you guys for having me on tonight. Yeah, this has been loads of fun, man. I enjoyed this.
Hell yeah.
A year and a half later, man. Good stuff, guys.
Yeah, loved having you on, man. It's always great to talk to you and the rest of the guys over there at the other channel. And it's been really cool working alongside and seeing everyone kind of developing and hitting success and making things happen. So appreciate you.
Yeah, man.
Now for us, Dustin, you want to talk about anything in particular?
I'll give us the rundown a little bit
Okay.
about what we got going on around here. So Monday nights, 10 p.m. Central Time, you find me, Jeff, and a guest pretty much every week here for the Wisdom Check, where we talk about all things tabletop role-playing games and streaming and otherwise. And next week, we have an artist with us by the name of Ed Beard Jr. will be with us. And my understanding is he is an artist for Magic the Gathering.
Sure is.
So
hey, we
his
got rated in our
art
outro.
What?
Dream Wisp Jen has rated us in our outro right now.
Oh.
So thank you, all of you raiders who are coming in and dropping by. We appreciate you guys stopping in.
Right.
We're talking to Turk from the Grouch Couch. And if he wants to plug his content real quick again, since we got new people in there, let's go ahead and hit that up real fast.
Hi, guys. Thank you for rating during the outro. I hate it when that happens. Twitch life, I know how it is. I'm Turkey from the Grouch Couch. Yeah, what's up, guys? How's it going?
Definitely go check their stuff out. They're really entertaining. The Drunks and the Dragons stuff.
Thank you.
And we're talking about what we're up to in this next week here on Tabletop to Keyboard. Dustin was telling us about the fact that we're having Ed Beard Jr., who is a Magic the Gathering artist, who's going to be coming on and joining us next week for our talk show here, the Wisdom Check. So, Dustin, what else do we got going on this week?
Well, then that brings us to Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Central Time. Cameron will be back. He's been doing some bardic knowledge on his Tuesday slots. I don't know if we're ready for another Barbell Knowledge, his exercise show. I don't know if we're ready for another one. It's coming up soon again. They're about due for another episode of Barbell Knowledge. So check in tomorrow in the Discord, and I'm sure Cameron will let us know exactly which one he's going to be doing tomorrow. And that brings us to Wednesday night, 10 p.m. Central Time. It's Don't Sleep, our All Flesh Must Be Eaten game, where Jeff
I'm so
is
dead.
probably dead, and I might be dead, and Tim is maybe gonna live. We don't know. We're talking about some chat interaction here, Turk. If you haven't seen it yet.
Do you know, I've never been able to catch you guys' Wednesday show.
Our good buddy Air Laser decided to drop 25 zombies on us, and we didn't make it out of the parking lot of the first game.
God.
Yeah, it was brutal. It was awful.
It was brutal.
Zombie is correct. Tomorrow, Levi is also going to be doing DM to Art. What time did he say for that? I know it was in our Discord somewhere.
Hold on, I'll look the Discord real fast. DM to Art returns tomorrow, too.
Yeah, believe it or not, this is what happens
Yeah.
with DM to Art. Levi is against schedules, and he is
Chaotic.
very chaotic. So when he drops in with his DM to Art, where he makes character art for us or game art for us, it's random. You have to be on the Discord to find out when that is. So let me go ahead and link that for you.
It's 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Central Time tomorrow because it's election day and it's a holiday. He gets to have it off. So
Yeah.
that explains it. Yeah, so that's why he's doing DM to Art tomorrow. And I think he's
Nice.
working on your character, Sid. Is he still working on Sid?
I hope so. I'm pumped for that.
Heck
All
yeah,
right, so
dude.
tune in tomorrow 1 to 3. You can watch Levi work his magic and help bring Sid to life.
But I always miss your guys' Wednesday stream. We stream at the same exact time on Wednesday at 7 p.m. PST. You guys start at 10 p.m. CST. So, same time. I've never been able to tune in for it. Do you guys post this as a VOD somewhere?
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
I am
Every-
actually putting it up. I actually have both of them scheduled to go up this week. So
Yeah.
we have a character creation up
Sweet.
there right now. Episode 1 and 2 of that will be up here in a couple days.
Speaking of which, almost everything we do here makes its way to our YouTube channel, where we are just a mere 3 subscribers away. 3, Jeff.
Is it 3?
2.
Okay.
Are we down to 2?
It's 3 or 2. It's one of those numbers. Yeah.
Just a couple of
For what?
where we're giving away a Pathfinder 2nd Edition core book when we hit 200 subscribers to one lucky sub. So get in there, sub, make yourself one of the 200 possible winners of a Pathfinder 2 core book.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to expand your game repertoire, this is your chance to do
Hold
so.
on.
Oh, yeah.
Guess who has another account? Guess what?
Ooh, that's
Hold
what
on
I'm
one
talking about.
second. Hold on one second. I've
Thank
got
you.
Grouch Couch, Turkey Terror, and I've got my college email. Guess what?
Much appreciated.
$1.99.
What's up? One more person.
Somebody put us over the top.
That Pathfinder book. So
Very nice.
thank you, Turk.
Yeah,
Much
you're
appreciated.
welcome.
And we'll be giving that away. So if we hit that mark, and it seems like we should pretty soon, then go ahead and stay tuned to the other shows, and we'll announce who will be winning that book, and we'll get information hopefully from that person and get that book out to them soon.
Mm-hmm.
That brings us to Thursday, which is our video game night.
I think this week
And
we're going to
Jerry,
be doing
200. Hype, yo!
Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
You guys rule.
There we go.
Thursday is normally our video game night. I think this week we're going to be doing something off stream. We're getting prepped for a spotlight game where we're going to be playing Savage Lands with Travis Legg. So that will probably be what's going on there.
Why don't we talk a little bit about that real fast, Jeff, and tell them what Spotlight is and what we got going on.
Spotlight's when we do a one-shot game with usually the creator of some content. So we've done a few of those in the past that we have VODs of. And this time around, Travis Legg, who's involved in the Scarred Lands, is going to be doing an awesome and running a game for us. So we can check out his content for 5e content stuff. And it seems pretty cool, not going to lie. So we're going to get that going and hope to see some new content that hasn't been released yet.
It's all compatible with D&D 5e. It's its own campaign setting called Scarred Lands. It's got new races, abilities, all kinds of stuff in there. So if you're looking to expand your D&D 5e library, tune in a week from Thursday, the 12th, and you'll get to see the guy who wrote the books run us through a one-shot of it. And we're going to be making this Thursday for it. So video game may not happen this week.
And when is the next Everstorm game?
That's what I'm going to say. I'm pretty sure it's this coming Saturday.
Yes.
I could be wrong.
Nice.
I have to check the schedule again. Is Levi still in the chat?
For no particular reason, if there happens to be a sloth race in this thing that you guys do, a sloth race, not a sloth race, but like a sloth race, let me know. For no real reason.
Okay.
No. Just asking for a friend.
Asking for a friend.
This sounds fantastic.
Also, alligators.
Yeah.
If there's an alligator, let me know on that too. No other reason.
This says November 7th is the next Everstorm game.
Kick ass.
Yeah,
Well, that's our schedule. Make sure you vote tomorrow if you are in America and you haven't voted already. And we'll see you around. Dustin, you got anybody for us to raid? Take all of our friends to?
I do have one other thing just to say.
Oh,
for
I'm
those
sorry.
of you who've been watching it, thank you guys for tuning in and watching Horror in Huttenberg. It did come to a conclusion last night. I am working on booking all of the players for a follow-up post-game wrap-up show, just like I did for Terror and Treefell.
Mm-hmm.
You will still be able to find me every other Wednesday, the opposite nights of our zombie game, doing GM prep, 10 p.m. here. I am going to start working with the community on figuring out what Vigilantes of Landry is going to completely look like. So if you want to have a little input into my next Zweihander story, the last Zweihander story I'll probably be running on the channel, because that'll make my trilogy complete. And we have to do a trilogy. You'll be able to tune in 10 p.m. on the opposite nights. And then I will be getting a date out there soon of when the Horn Huttenberg post-game wrap-up show will be, and bring this thing back around full to an end. So
hell yeah, man.
And then as for people to raid,
was that a Death Star? I mean, like a starship?
It was a Star Destroyer.
It was a Star Destroyer.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, then you should check out the VOD soon, because
it was. I knew ahead of time that they were not prepared for a Star Destroyer to appear on.
Not even a little bit. It'll be on YouTube very soon.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have it out in the next couple days.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you, Turk.
This was loads of fun. I don't know all the subjects we touched on, but I just like talking with you guys. So that was fun.
It's a great time, man. Anytime.
I was having a good old time. Everyone in chat, I'm Turkey from the Grouch Couch.
We are heading over to our friends at Quest and Chaos, who are playing some tabletop RPGs tonight. So tell them that Tabletop to Keyboard sent you, and we will catch you guys next time.
Awesome. See you guys.